What's up, everybody? What is up? What is up? What is up? We are back again with Intero Podcast number 97. Can you believe it? We're 3 away from 100. And boy, oh boy, oh boy. I don't know if we're going to be able to keep this up all the way to the 100, but we got a special show for you. The homie, middle-aged gamer guy, is in the house. He's going to be here joining the party today. We're going to be talking gaming, all types of great stuff. He had to step out just for a second because there might be Discord problems or something. I think going some audio issues right here. But I promise, Mag is here. We just Cold Blood and I was just talking to him. So as soon as he takes care of those audio issues, he'll be right back in. He'll be in. But do us a huge favor as you guys are piling in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and rock those bells for notifications, please. All right. And then I was just talking to Mag before we went live, before he had to address something. Definitely check your bell notifications. Please make sure that your notifications say all. All right. Like, do that right now if you can, because here's what happens. We're on YouTube, and YouTube is going to YouTube. And when it goes through its little fickle thing where it messes with you and your channel through the algorithm, sometimes it turns you guys' bells off without you knowing, and it tries to select for you what they think you might want to watch. And they do that because they might try to put, they think they're doing an honest job by trying to put new content in front of people and not just showing you what you want to be shown. You know what I'm saying? So they're trying to tell you how to eat the porridge, you know? But if you don't want to go through that, make sure that the notifications are set to all so you always know when we are live. All right, so let me do this. Let me get the live chat box up so we can see what people are saying. We got Michael Morton. He's always in the house. He says, let's go, boys. Definitely we are ready to go with Mag in the house. We got Cold Blood here. Hey, Cold Blood, what's going on, brother? What's been up, man?
That was yesterday.
We did have fun yesterday.
Only one thing, I enjoy Assassin's Creed Shadows now more than I did before.
Oh, you did? Okay, cool.
Like, since I unlocked Yasuke, the game just opened up a lot more.
Oh, you're saying since you're not, or that you are Yasuke?
No, since I unlocked him, now I can do all the damn content, right? Like, it doesn't say, oh, you have to have Yasuke for this part.
Okay. I really want it for the pro. I just want to see what it is for the pro, because if you guys have Assassin's Creed, and this is crazy, man. And when Mag gets back, I definitely want to get his thoughts on this. I wonder if he has a pro, but you guys know that I have the NVIDIA GeForce now. Okay, there goes Mag. I'm pulling back in. Okay, there you go, brother. You okay? You good?
You know, mid-conversation, the whole system crashed.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't even know what the hell happened. I'm like, I'm talking to myself. I'm like, where did everybody go? Anyways, I'm here.
Phil nuked your system.
Microsoft don't want you to talk, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. It was Phil Spencer himself literally just went and goes, cut his lines.
Don't release any more information.
Cut his lines. And he had Aaron Greenberg with a big pair of gardening shears, just snapping like the local chords. Yeah, there it is. Unbelievable. Anyways, I'm here.
they weren't believing me. They're like Bullpucky, you don't have Mag. Yeah, Mag is here, man. He's here.
Yeah,
all right, everybody.
Yeah,
okay.
Mag's here, yeah.
It's not made up. It's not like Phil Spencer saying there's only going to be 4 games. I'm not pulling your chain. So what's been up, brother? What's going on, man? What's been happening since the last time you were here?
First of all, it's been a while, since we last did a show. But I have been one busy cat, man. I mean, not only with work and everything else, and 2025 is the Lord is testing me this year. So I'm just like, all right, dude. I'm looking up at the sky going, all right, dude, it's okay. I said, you better pay this. This better pay off.
Yeah.
I said, whatever. I'll embrace the pain. Either way, work has been really tough this year. But also, I launched the channel 2 months ago. And it's been great, man. I mean, I'm closing in on 1.4 thousand subs, I guess. I mean, it's not like, you know, I mean, it's not like Colt Eastwood 173,000 subs or whatever, but like, you know, you got to start somewhere, right? So I'm like, you got to start somewhere. So I'm expanding it a lot. I'm doing a lot of videos, doing live stuff. I'm doing game streaming. I'm doing actual videos, no podcasts. So no podcasts, just videos. Short ones, sometimes longer ones, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever, if I'm doing a review or a breakdown. But I'm not just doing games. I'm doing games, Hollywood, TV, whatever. Like any kind of like nerd culture stuff, I'm all over it. I even did like a 16-minute breakdown of Avengers Doomsday, who's in it, who's not in it, whatever, stuff like that. And then all the confirmed actors, whatever, like inside track stuff, because I do have people in Hollywood I talk to as well. So, so it's kind of cool. So I've been doing all that. And I've been super busy. I just launched, actually, funny enough, I just launched a video 2 days ago about the Oblivion remake, Shadow Drop, and it was my biggest video so far. I'm at 5.3 thousand views already, whatever. So I'm like, all right, that's good. I'm happy with the traffic, but it's a lot of work, man. But I'm having fun, and that's all that matters. And then you know what? On top of all that,
bro. Yeah, that's good shit. That's the shit.
I know. And then now I'm reviewing games too, but I'll get into that later because I have I'm gonna have a whole different approach of how I'm gonna review games, but I'll get into that later of what I'm doing, but that'll tie into what I'm playing.
Okay, well, we got a bunch of stop swiping motherfuckers that'll they'll lurk in the background, they'll steal your shit. So make sure you don't reveal it, Mag, before you got it signed, sealed, and delivered. Before next thing you know, Monday someone's rolling with your idea. You know what I mean?
I know.
Explorer swiper, don't stop swiping type people out here like crazy. But
they're out there. They're out there, just waiting
bro.
for someone else to say something. And then you know what's funny, actually. There are a lot of people who are accusing me of doing that when they saw my Oblivion remake video, right? And they're like, "Oh, this is the same old shit I've seen everybody else do. This is like the 11th guy saying it. All they do is wait for news, and then they just regurgitate it." So I responded to one of them, and I'm like, "Hey, fuckface, I don't give a shit. I got what." And I'm like, "I'm the one who broke the news 2 months ago, asshole." And I'm like, "I'm the original source, not Jeff, not those other guys." I said, I'm just reiterating that it's coming up really soon. So, like, get ready for it or whatever, right?
Everybody else is sucking off my tit. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny how that happens, right? So it's kind of hilarious, I guess. But, what are you going to do, man? You just keep on rolling and just don't listen to the noise.
Yeah, exactly. That's rule number one. Because what they do is people get mad when either you reveal something or you have an opinion that they don't like, so they try to bully you and shit. They try to bully you behind the keyboard. You just gotta let them know.
I know. I don't get it. You know, I don't understand too. There's something else that actually bothers me. I was thinking about this today, and it bothers me because the people like get mad if I'm on a show with someone, or if I'm on like Crossfire with Mooch and stuff like that, or they're like, "How the fuck can you do a show with Brap? He's a fucking owner, bitch, and bad at food." And I'm like, he's my friend.
Yeah.
Like, do you not have friends that might have a differing opinion than you? Then you stop talking to them? Like, if one of you likes the Dallas Cowboys and the other one likes the Chiefs, you're going to stop talking to him?
Yeah.
Like, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm like, they're my friends. Yeah. Same with like Mooch and like the rest of those guys. And the other ones I get a lot of flack for, like Reforge Gaming and stuff like that. Like him and I talk and whatever else behind the scenes. And it's funny that I'm just like, we're just, we're human beings, Like this isn't some kind of a fucking war. We're not like it's not like I'm not talking to you because you have a differing opinion. That's the most idiotic thing I've ever heard in my life. Otherwise, you'd probably have no friends. Mind you, the people that do say shit like that probably don't have any friends.
Fucking friends,
they don't have any friends to begin with. So that's starting to make a lot more sense. I think I just had an epiphany right here on the show. But either way.
Yeah, or they do have friends, and it's a jar of Vaseline in their grandma's plaid couch in the basement. Those are the best buddies and shit.
They call it echo chamber.
Yeah,
there you go, buddy. Yeah, it's wild,
chamber.
Man. It's totally wild. It is. It's an echo chamber. It's totally wild to me, and I just don't get it. I'm like, like you can, like I said, differing opinions is something that everybody has. Like my brothers and I have completely polar opposite opinions about politics. Am I gonna stop talking to my own flesh and blood because we have differing opinions? No, I'll just say something. He'll say something. I'll be like, all right, whatever, bro. Fuck off. You know, and then we just laugh about it. Then we clink a beer, and then we just keep doing what we're doing. And like it's just like that's the way it is. Like I don't get it, man.
You know what, man?
I don't get it.
It's easy for me, and I don't know about you, it's easy for me as an old fogey to blame it on the younger generation. But like the heart of me and Cold Blood's relationship is him laughing at me, you know, because of my gaming picks. I mean, he's been terrorizing me from Xbox to Stadia, and even, you know, back we're like the best of friends doing this shit, right? So I can't, it's not fair for me to do that, to blame the younger generation. It's just, the internet unfortunately has taken the Wonder Woman lasso and just lassoed all of the fucking weirdos in the farther regions of the world that used to just be secluded and gave them the biggest megaphone. And I think that's what you're seeing. So
well, yeah, and the internet. I think the internet is probably the best and worst thing to ever happen to humanity because the good things about it is that as a global village, we're able to like actually get information out there and everything else, and we're able to like reach out to the farthest ends of the planet and be able to talk to people and have fun and this and that and exchange information. But it also exposes us to the biggest fucking morons I've ever experienced in my entire life. And unfortunately, the internet has given them a platform to speak. Yes. What we used to do in the old days is that you were usually secluded to a corner and usually got bullied quite a bit or whatever, right? And then that's the end of it. Nobody had to hear your crap because there was no internet. The problem is now they've been given a platform and we're forced to see it. That's... The block button doesn't work fast enough sometimes. I gotta tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there, I'm pressing that thing I'm pressing that thing faster than you could possibly imagine. Like I'm like trying to like an abort a missile launch. It's unbelievable how much I press that block button. I'm like, I can't take you guys anymore.
The people,
it's wild,
like you said, that would hang out in the corner of the lunchroom picking their navel, knowing they better shut the fuck up with their weird shit. Now they got the biggest platform, dude. Biggest.
Yes, they do, and it's pretty unnerving. And then, of course, every time I do one of these shows, whether it's your show, actually, it happens on your show occasionally, or generally when I'm on Crossfire, there's this that guy. I won't even say his name because he's such a fucking asshole. But anyways, he just sits there and waits to clip people, right?
Oh yeah.
And he just constantly clips people, whatever.
Yeah.
There's another guy, Jamie Zach, who's actually really funny. He's kind of funny.
Yeah, he's goofy with his shit. Yeah,
he's kind of funny because at least he does it in a comedic way or whatever. But then there's some other people who take it so seriously that you can't say one word and you're going, oh my God, am I going to get clipped? But then I'm like, you know what? I don't give a fuck if I get clipped. That's the way I'm going to be. That's the way I am. And that's the way I'm going to talk. And if you like it, that's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's great. If you don't like me,
viewer, that I can fucking get. Yeah, please do it.
Yeah. It's like I have, for me, casual audience, that comes here and there or whatever. But I prefer the ride or dies, and that's all there's going to be to it. And it's funny because someone actually sent me a message a little while ago who's watching my channel. And he says to me, I don't really like what you say. He goes, but I can appreciate the fact that every time you do say something, you're absolutely genuine and honest about it.
Yep.
And I was like, that's good enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's good enough. Like, it's like, you may not like it, but he goes, at least I know, at least he knows I'm not full of shit, is basically the point, right? So I'm like, all right. I'll take that. You know what I mean? I'll take that because that's what I try to be, just as genuine and honest as possible with all this stuff. And I'm not gonna bullshit anybody. I'm just gonna say, people have heard me on XNC absolutely trash the living shit out of Xbox on an Xbox channel. Yeah, and it's like we're like the fourth biggest Xbox show on the planet. And so it's kind of funny that, well, I think fifth now because no, I think we're still number 4. But whatever, doesn't matter. The point is, I'm not shy to say it. And you know what the funny thing is? I know those guys are listening. Like the big guns are listening. And I taunted them one night because I knew they were listening. And I said it on the show. You get it? You ready for this? Yeah. And I knew it was either Phil or Greenberg was listening. And I said, I bet you they're dying to find out who I'm talking to. I said, because when they sit in the boardroom, so I made this joke. I'm sitting there going, I bet you Phil looks left and right in the boardroom at the desk, and he's going, which one of these motherfuckers is talking about?
Yeah, which one?
And I just like do like things like that. No everybody's in complete shock when I say it. And I'm just like, well, it's just me, man. That's just the way I'm gonna be. That's the way I say things. But anyways.
Yep.
Anyways,
hey, man, yeah, it's like, hey, it is what it is, and you know, we're excited about games and people. You know, I was listening to something. And I don't know if you've seen it. Lisa Fri. I don't know if that name rings a bell to you. We had
Lisa Fri. I think so.
Yeah, she was back in the 360 days. She had the glasses and shit like that, and she was working on Gears, right? And then she had got someone over her by the time Gears 2 was ready to ship, and she ended up leaving. Right? There was a big controversy because it was like, and she talked about how. What is it, a meritocracy or something like that, where you get ranked based upon your abilities instead of any quasi-political shit. She was like, before Xbox started falling apart, that's what it was about. She said it was about people getting boosted about their abilities. And she said then leadership started changing some things, and then there was like quid pro quo or whatever, and people got put in places, and then I got someone put above me that maybe I should have got the position, and then she ended up leaving. Right, but she broke down her symptom of the Xbox issue, and she's like, she's like, Phil is trying to change the culture back, but in so many words, I gather it's like he's missing that component where people are competent. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you boost people, that's one thing, but the people that you're boosting has to be competent. So I just thought about that because you're like, Phil's probably sitting in a room wondering which one of these motherfuckers is talking to Mag. And then on top of that, he's probably thinking, damn, and look what I've surrounded myself by. You know what I mean? I don't know.
There's more. Let me tell you something. Now that we're on that subject, and we'll be brief. I know we're kind of going off on little tangents here and there, but whatever. We're not. Yeah, it's not. There's not even a show. This is like a conversation happening here right now. But I could tell you something, brother. And I'll tell you this, and I said this on a couple of shows though, and people are rather surprised because I have been obviously over the last year and a half or so, and now I understand the business model, I understand what's going on, but I was very critical up until a point with what Microsoft was doing and everything else. Now, I did say something that a lot of people did not expect me to say, because, and I said, you know what's going to happen one day, and I can't remember what show it was on. I said it, and I said, you're going to miss the day someone like Phil Spencer leaves. I know a lot of people are asking for his head and stuff like that, and they're like, oh, he's gone, he's done, he's this, he's whatever, he needs to go. And I said, you know what though? I said, at the same time, you're going to miss someone like that, because that's going to be the last gamer you're ever going to see in the corporation. And they don't understand what I mean, but that man was a programmer. Yeah. That man worked on games, that he did what he did. He's still in the community now. If you turn on like the Xbox or PC or whatever, he's out there playing games. He's out there like doing multiplayer things. He's in parties. I've been in party chats with him on Xbox or whatever, or on PC, and he's there doing his thing or whatever. You're not going to find that anymore. And whether you agree with what's happening or not, the interesting thing is that you will never find someone with that kind of dynamic again, because the other people they're going to hire are going to be people who never grew up with games, who never played those games, never did those things. And this guy did. So he's actually more in line with our philosophies than I think a lot of us give credit for. Now, the interesting thing is the civil war that's going on, the quiet civil war that's been going on at Microsoft for the last year, he was not part of it. In fact, he was fighting to keep the tradition alive, but, and I'm never going to spill the beans on it, I only told one other person this at a very high risk, which I'll never say again. There is a mole who is the one who caused all this. And
that caused all the, you're talking about as far as leaking the games coming to PlayStation and shit? Is that what you mean?
No. Changing the entire business plan.
Oh, okay.
And getting into Satya's ear and Amy Hood's ear, and changing the entire landscape of how Microsoft was going to move forward. So that person betrayed them, and the thing is, it got so ugly that apparently it even went down to HR, where they were actually having some actual real life problems about this situation, right? So as a result of that, that's where the leakers and the people started reaching out to me, because they wanted the information out there. And the reason why they wanted the information out there is because they wanted the public to know what they were doing and how they actually disagreed with the business model moving forward. Now, the funny thing is, it didn't make a difference at the end of the day, because when the big boss wanted to make money, well, then that's the business model moving forward. There's nothing you could do about that. So Satya wanted it. That's what's going to happen. No matter what you say, you could cry and scream and go kicking about how, staying exclusive and competitive with PlayStation, Nintendo. It's done. But for a time, there was somebody in there who actually turned their backs on the original guys over there, and basically said, why don't we do this? I will let the audience
I'll well, before you do that, I kind of like wrote you a napkin and I slid it to you in the DM. You ain't got to respond to it. Just so you see it. I just want you to see it. I put like my submission in there. You know what I mean? Just so you see it.
So it was pretty. It's still, there's still bad blood there as a result of this situation.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is, because at the end of the day, you still got to feed your family. Phil's getting paid a lot of money. So, he's getting paid a lot of money to be there. He's going to continue to make a shitload of money, and he's going to retire in peace, a millionaire. And so at the end of the day, wouldn't you? I mean, I'd give it up real quick if I'm making $7 million US a year.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, actually, no, I think he's making 14 now. I think he's making 14 mil. So he's making a shitload of money. So at the end of the day, I'd be like, dude, I don't give a fuck. I'll be doing that too. Yeah. You want me to make him for the Ouya? I'll bring him back from the dead. Let's make fucking games for the Ouya for 14 mil a year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I do for 14 mil a year.
Yeah. It's like Phil was Peter Moore without the Peter Moore eye. Like if he had the eye of Peter Moore's finest as far as finding good content, Xbox would be golden. You know what I'm saying?
That's an issue.
Exact. You know what I mean?
Yes. He was a fucking legend. That was a thing. Like with Phil, he did have his. He was like, I have faith in this game and this and that, and they usually didn't pan out.
Yeah.
And so, he didn't have an eye for quality. He doesn't have, I'm saying didn't, like we're doing like a fucking obituary. He doesn't have the same eye for quality. There's no question. Not at all. And then as a result of that, we've seen the results of that, right? However, there's a very interesting dynamic that's happening now that's literally going to change the quality. And this is where it's going to get very interesting.
Okay.
They now have to make games for PlayStation to compete against PlayStation games. Therefore, they know that PlayStation players are not going to buy fucking garbage. They're not going to buy mediocrity for $70. They're going to want the AAA bangers at $70 a pop. They want it to be, and that's why they pushed with the big ones to charge full price. What are the two ones that they charge for first? Forza Horizon 5 and Indiana Jones, both critically acclaimed. I mean, to various degrees, because I saw user scores were lower, significantly lower than what the critics gave it. However, it doesn't matter. I'm talking about for indie specifically. But the thing is, moving forward, now they have a new pressure on them. Isn't that funny? That instead of like a pressure of making AAA bangers for themselves, now they're competing. They're competing on the same platform to make AAA bangers for PlayStation. Otherwise, they won't sell.
Yeah.
So they're basically forced to make quality, which actually, in the long run, benefits everybody. Isn't that such a bizarre dynamic? How that happened?
I said that Xbox has a novelty, kind of like how Sega had a novelty. Like when they first started coming to PlayStation, people were like, holy shit, Jet Set Radio on my PlayStation. You know what I mean? There's going to be a period when that novelty time frame comes out, and they got to be hitting on all full cylinders, like you said, in order to get the PlayStation gamer attention. So hopefully that, and look, and here's the crazy thing about it, bro. Xbox is going to be competing for time, because they're not just going to be competing against PlayStation games. They're going to be competing against Ubisoft. So they're going to be competing for time on the biggest game market out there, or which is the PlayStation 5 store. And that could be a subscription. That could be exactly. That could be great for gamers, because if they do get up to par, like you said, they can do so, and PlayStation ain't going to have to try to put their foot on their necks. You know what I mean?
No,
they're not going to throw a wrench in the gear, in the cogs. You know?
Well, the thing is that the people had to fall back on was this Game Pass situation. They're like, well, and we've heard it over the last several years now. Well, it's in Game Pass. Well, the game's not great. Well, it's in Game Pass. Well, the game's already mediocre. Well, it's in Game Pass. And I'm like, that's not a great excuse. And you won't be able to use that anymore because now, like I said, now you're exposed. Now you're selling it for $70. Who knows? Maybe $80 by the time Nintendo's done with us.
Fucking Christ, bro.
But I know, right? But the thing is, yeah, exactly, right? The thing is, though, now you're competing for $70 games. So you best make sure that those games are damn well. They got to be Ghost of Yotei quality. They got to be, Last of Us 2 quality. They got to be God of War.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Now, like so far this generation, like before this Project Latitude took off, to me, the best game that they released this generation was Psychonauts 2. I thought that game was fucking phenomenal. And actually, to date, I think it's my personal opinion, I think it's the Xbox's best game of this generation. Not that there was much to choose from the first 4 years, right? But now things are starting to come together, and you see it, but it's not coming together in the same way people think. And I'm like, well, guys, stop thinking like a console. Start thinking like a third-party publisher. You're just going to get the games where you consume them. Nobody cares. Or at least nobody at Xbox cares. I mean, Jesus Christ, I had people attack me because I bought an Xbox game on PlayStation because my wife and I game share on PS5, right? And I'll get it on there because she doesn't have an Xbox anymore. She got rid of it. And so the thing is, I'm like, okay, so do you think Phil Spencer, never mind Phil Spencer. Let's just say Satya Nadella. Do you think Satya Nadella gives a rat's fucking ass if I bought it for $70 on PlayStation or I consumed it on Game Pass? What does he care? Because the money's still coming to him. So if I spent the $70 US, he gets 70%. Publisher fee from my purchase, and 30% goes to PlayStation. It's a win-win for both companies. It doesn't really make a difference. And I brought up another point. I said PC is not an Xbox, but but guys who buy Xbox games on PC, how come you don't shit all over them? That's a third party machine. That's not synonymous with Xbox. It's just a machine. I said the same thing with a PlayStation. It's just a machine. I'm buying I'm not all of them. I'm buying some of the Xbox games on the PlayStation so my wife can enjoy them. And imagine people like sending me threats and all kinds of shit because of that. I'm like, you guys are fucked. So anyways, whatever, doesn't matter.
And I'm going to add to that. Sure. I think this is going to be controversial. So hopefully that clip this shit because I need the viewers. If you're lonely, cross rubbing asses out there clipping shit, clip this. PC gamers are actually like lepers to the Xbox console. Here's why I say that. They're welcome because Xbox is PC, PC is Xbox. But what ends up happening is their biggest spenders go to PC, and not only are they not paying 100% towards the Xbox games, only paying 70 over on PC, but now they're buying all their multiplats on Steam. They're not buying their multiplats on Xbox. So Xbox is actually inviting for their biggest spenders to go elsewhere and not support the Xbox marketplace. So
no, at the end of the day, they're looking for that publisher fee, and that's fine. That's fair. Like I said, it shouldn't matter anymore. When everybody's saying, not everybody, but a lot of people are saying, oh, well, it doesn't matter anymore. This is the direction they're going. And that's fine. That's fine. That's the direction they're going. That's great. To me, as a consumer, the only thing that should matter is great quality games. I don't give a shit where they're made, who makes them, what's going on.
What the financials are.
I don't really care. I just want quality games and where it's going to be. That's all that should matter to anybody because not you, but like the people that complain and bitch and moan or whatever, they do not have a vested interest in any of this except for being a consumer. So to go so rah and to go so hard and to make threats and to do this and to send nasty messages and to do that and to block me and I guest on a show and people are shit talking me in the chat. There's still people shit talking me. I did a show last week and there's still people who walked out of the chat because I showed up because they're still pissed off that I had reported about Project Latitude. I'm like, grow the fuck up. I swear to fucking God. I swear to God. I swear to God. I couldn't believe it. And I'm like, you guys are fucking ridiculous. And I'm not talking about you guys like one specific group of people. I'm just talking about fanboys in general. I've just had enough of them. And that's another thing. And some people came to me, they're like, why don't you make those Pony Master videos anymore? I said, you know why? I said, because, not because they're not funny. And I was getting a lot. Dude, I was getting 250,000 views on some of those videos. But I was fueling something that they thought I was like a flag bearer for something and I'm like, maybe I made a mistake. And I didn't make a mistake because I enjoyed doing them. I thought they were funny. And I wore my little, my unicorn horn and all that shit and whatever else. And sometimes I did it in I did a couple videos in my wife's bra and underwear and whatever, right? And they're funny and this and that. But then I realized something. I was actually creating more toxicity than I realized. Because people thought, oh, here's the alpha guy that's going to do this and whatever. And I'm like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. So I'm like, I just wanted to make people laugh. And then it turned into something toxic, not because of me, but because toxic people were looking for it.
Yeah.
Yes. And they weaponized it.
Yep.
And it was weaponized. And then I said, no, I'm not doing this anymore because I didn't want my comedy to be weaponized for something so fucking stupid as toxic fanboyism. So I stopped doing it. And it wasn't like, it's not like everybody's like, oh, that's because he's a pony now. And I'm like, no, I'm not. That's not, I'm a gamer and that's the way it's going to be. And I said, if I, if for like X amount of time I play here or I play there or whatever, it is what it's going to be. And I said, because I'm going to be playing where the games are. And of course, also for financial prudency, like I said before, if there's a game my wife wants, I will buy it on PlayStation so that she can play it. Right? Because I'm the only one in the house with an Xbox. So I have an Xbox down here. I have the PS5 Pro. She's got a PS5, and my two kids have PS5s, both of them. Right? And so no one has an Xbox. So why would I buy something on there that only I have access to? Especially these days with the price of eggs. You think I'm going to go and buy, you know what I mean? Buy it twice? I'm going to buy it once.
Yeah.
And that's all there is to it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right. And it has nothing to do with anything. People are reading into it like it's some kind of a thing. And I'm like, guys, you guys really got to stop, man. Well, let's just celebrate fucking great games, man. That's what we're here for.
Here's unfortunately what's happened to you is that I wish that you would have gotten the spotlight last gen more so than this gen, because last gen, I mean, there was some quote unquote toxicity, but last gen it was more fathomable for me and you to be friends, even if we didn't agree. You know what I'm saying? Like the cliques last gen were full of people that didn't agree. And this gen, it became a thing, like you said, for people to literally hate you as a person because you like another platform. I've never seen anything like it in my life until I got here. And like I said, if I practiced a dynamic like that, trust me, Cold Blood and I would have never said more than 3 words to each other.
Well, right. You guys weren't friends when you started, right? Because I know
we
that.
Weren't friends with, we didn't know each other.
You guys read each other's throats a little bit.
Yeah.
And so you guys became friends over time. And I'm like, oh, see, that's how things are done. And actually, chat, we were talking about this behind the scenes. And I said the same thing. I said, if you have a friend who likes the Dallas Cowboys and then, and I just happen to like the Buffalo Bills, are we going to stop talking? That is the most insane thing I've ever heard in my life. Or we go see a movie and I'm like, dude, that movie was dope. And they'd be like, nah, I didn't like it that much. That's it. You're no longer my friend. I'm blocking you on Twitter and Facebook. And I'm not talking to you. And your sister's a whore and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Like, what? Who does this?
Bruh.
Everybody has differing opinions about something. Why is this community so specifically violent about it? It doesn't make any, or so cut and dry. It's like only a Sith deals in absolutes, okay? Obi-Wan Kenobi 2005. But you know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck? What's the matter with you guys? And so I've had this whole change in perspective and this whole change in philosophy where I'm just like, listen, man, I'm going to celebrate greatness and positivity. I'm not some kind of a born again fucking asshole. I'm just saying, I'm still who I am. I'm still who I am, and I'm always going to be that way. And let me tell you something: you slip up, or you do a dirty practice or whatever, you're going to hear about it times 1,000. I'm never going to stop with that. But the thing is, there's no point in focusing on all the negativity when there's so much great stuff out there, because we're supposed to be having fun, man.
Yeah.
And I don't understand. You spend up here in Canada, I spent $1,200 on this PS5 Pro. Okay,
Jesus Christ.
and I spent $750 on the Series X. You spend all this money, plus I bought a beautiful monitor and this and that, because I no longer game on the big TV. I'm doing the monitor now because of the refresh rate and all that stuff, and it's just a different experience. Now the thing is, are we spending all this money so we could be miserable? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
I hate this shit.
Yeah, fucking bullshit. And like
$35,000 later, yeah.
That's like me going to the Dominican Republic and then like spending $15,000 to go to the Dominican with my kids and my wife, and then just be miserable and fighting with everybody the whole time. The whole point is that you're supposed to be enjoying yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then and the thing is, here's something. I don't know. This might be a revelation for some people. If it's not doing it for you, walk away and find something that else is. Yeah. You don't have to justify every purchase with like if it. You know who I learned that from actually, because there's something it's been happening lately, and I'll tell you something. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16 and I fucking hate it. You know why? Let me tell you why I hate it.
Why is that?
Because it's like a fucking cutscene simulator.
Okay.
39 hours of fucking cutscenes, and I'm like sitting there going, I walk 8 steps, and then it's another 10-minute cutscene, and I'm sitting in my chair, you know, twiddling my nipples for 10 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, can I pick up the controller again? I pick up the controller, I open a door, another cutscene. All of a sudden, another cutscene, another cutscene, another cutscene, and I'm like, I'm not even playing this fucking game. And I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. The story's nonsensical. I'm just, well, maybe not nonsensical. Maybe it's just I just got so pissed off I stopped following it. But the thing is, and then Reforged said something very interesting, and he's like, you shouldn't have to work for the games. The games should work for you. So what he said, and I just realized that, and I was just like, son of a bitch. I'm like, he's totally right. And I'm like, that's what it is. And I'm like, they should be working for us, because at the end of the day, I pay, you know what I mean? Like if it's not doing it for you, don't force yourself to continue it. Like, go do something that you absolutely enjoy. And that goes for even like console of choice, platform of choice, game of choice, friends of choice, YouTube channels of choice. It should all be the same thing. Is that at the end of the day, it's just you do what makes you happy, and and you know what I mean. And as long as you're not hurting anybody, it's as long as you're doing something that makes you happy, not something that's making you miserable. And like, I don't understand how people will let's just say they buy something, and then they're so hell bent on justifying that purchase that they'll go to the ends of the earth to make themselves miserable to justify that purchase. Don't do that. Yeah. You know, no one's going to judge you for that. Like, no one's going to judge you for walking away from something and be like, listen, man, I gave this a shot. It's just not my thing. And that's it. Like people be like, all right, cool. Like anybody with a normal brain would just be like, all right, man, that's cool. No one's saying nothing. No one's saying anything.
I think what it is here, though, again, you this new revelation where, and if you have a difference of opinion, I got to demonize you. And I've seen that a lot on the internet, where just because I like something different, I got to get personal. It's not just get personal. It's, oh, you dumb fuck. It's going beyond that. It's, you dumb fuck, you're an evil person, and you throw babies into live volcanoes. Like they try to find some way to tether you to some type of horrible incident, when it's just simply we have a difference of an opinion. You know what I mean?
Sure. I'm now learning. The longer I'm in this game, I've been on YouTube for 5 years. However, my channel's only 2 months old. But I've been on YouTube for 5 years on various other people's channels, always on panels and this and that. And then I thought to myself, of course, my wife reminds me every single day saying, you think maybe you should have started this 5 years ago, asshole? And I'm like, yeah, I know, honey, I know. But I didn't have the chops then. I didn't know what I was doing. You know what I mean? I didn't want to walk into it that much of a virgin. I wanted to have, a little bit under my belt. Well, 5 years, I guess, under my belt, understanding how this game works and how to do everything. I know, just a little bit, right? And just figure it out. And then now I think I've got this thing figured out. And so now I'm doing my thing. And but part of that is also journey of philosophy, because like my journey changes. Like the way when I started, I was talking one way, and the way I would think would be one way, and now it's evolved over the last 5 years into and that's also on a personal level, right? Because you get older, you get wiser, presumably. You get older and wiser, whatever, and then your thought processes change and evolve. Well, that also goes with my gaming world, right? And the YouTube world. Well, think about this, brother. Games you played 30 years ago, your taste in games have probably changed over time. Like I never played RPGs in the 90s and the 2000s, early 2000s. Not at all. They were not my thing. I played like, your action adventure, running guns, or this and that, like those kind of, you know what I mean? Like whatever kind of games. I never played RPGs. RPGs is now my jam. I never played open world games except for one, King's Quest. I played that on the PC with my dad way back when. But you know what I mean? Like things change over time, your tastes, your thoughts, your opinions, your philosophies. And so that's also something that happened with YouTube. And I realized I'm like, maybe 5 years ago would have been a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
Because 5 years ago, I wouldn't have be what I am now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think either or. So, like I was like thrown in. It was trial by fire, and I've learned a lot. Like as much as I've gotten shit right, I've had some gaffes. Right, Cold Blood will tell you that. He's got a whole book full of receipts. Right, I've had some gaffes, but
everybody does. Everybody does.
Yeah, but it's a growing process, and to me, I wouldn't change it for the world. Because it's like on full display. It's like a journal. This is a chronological look at my continued growth and how I observe things in my journey through gaming, and I'm all for it. And for the dillwads out there that like to talk shit on people behind cardboards and crusty plaid couches, I don't care what they have to say. Like you can come, if you can talk shit behind the keyboard, you can come on the show, talk shit, person to person. We'll have a good old time. So that's just my approach to it, but that's a lot of great revelation, a lot of great stuff to think about. A lot of people in the chat, I can see them saying, "Yep, that's what's great." Before we go any further, though, I do want to do the preliminary roundtable. We haven't done that. I'm gonna throw Cold Blood in here real quick. Cold Blood, just so what have you been playing this week, brother? You said you got into Assassin's Creed, and were you able to play anything else?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, Mag.
Yo.
What have you had any chance to play anything this week? This game?
Oh my God, I've been playing games like crazy. By the way, that's a funny name. Doug Game Boy. Doug Game Boy. I don't recall ever blocking you, but I will unblock you. Are you talking about on Twitter or like YouTube or what? Because I don't know. Usually I don't block people unless they do something really serious, like threaten my life, which has happened. But I mean, not like they're gonna do anything. It's like, okay, some dude from Minneapolis. I'm like, all right, enjoy crossing the border and finding me in Canada, you fucking weirdo. Yeah. But anyways, yeah. So no, dude, I'll check it out. Give me your Twitter handle. I'll unblock you, man.
The Game Boy, don't be one of those weirdos, that happens, as soon as you get unblocked. Yeah, so I'm going to set house to your fire. I'm going to set fire to your house with your whole family in it. Please don't be one of those fucking weirdos, bro. Because if I find out, you will get lambasted here. You know how we do.
Oh, there he goes. He put it in. He goes,
he says, no, I don't threaten anybody.
No. I didn't think so.
Okay.
I didn't think so, because if he was a super toxic person, he probably wouldn't say anything at all. So the fact that he said that, but you know what though,
the Game Boy's he's a regular here. Like, well, he's been here before, so I didn't get those vibes from him. You know what's funny is that and it was an accident too, because Twitter's fucking weird sometimes too. I have people blocked that I've never had contact with. Okay. Or they've blocked me and never had contact with. Like, for example, even Jez Corden had me blocked. Oh, shit. I had to reach out to Rand. I'm like, dude, because I talked to those guys. I go, dude, what the fuck? And he's like, what? What's going on? I go, Jez has me blocked. And then I'm like, and he's like, oh. He goes, hold on, let me get. So he messages Jez, and he goes, you know what happens sometimes? He has no idea. He goes, he has no idea what happened. He goes, he unblocked you. Yeah. Sometimes they block you not because of you, but because there might be somebody that you follow that because they follow you, they come up on their feed. I had someone block me, and I was talking to them one time in the Discord. I'm like, bro, why did you block me? He's like, bro, it's not you, it's the people that follow you, because as soon as they see my content or my comments, they're jumping all over me, man. So I unfortunately had to block you, and I was like, oh, okay, I got it. So some of that could be it too. I don't know. It's like, yeah. Just kind of, I get it. Yeah. Dude. He said, Mag, do you think you can get me a job as a remote producer at Halo Studios? So that's why he blocked you, because you sitting there begging for a fucking job. No. I don't work for them.
I only rob them of information. That's basically what I do. I'm like the Robin Hood of the gaming world.
I like that shit.
I steal from the corporations and give back to the community. Then I tell them what's going on.
Megan Hood. You can go by Megan.
Yeah, Megan Hood. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. People call me a lot of names, not that one.
Yeah, Donald Cowie, I see your comment. I'm going to get to it after we get through the preliminary stuff. Because I'm going to throw that in Mag's direction, see what his thoughts are. But you said you've been playing a bunch of shit, huh? Oh, go ahead. What did you say, Cold Blood?
No, I got a question for Matt.
Okay.
Yeah, what's up, brother?
Do you know what the Steam machine of Xbox is going to be?
No, I really don't. I actually have I really don't. I've heard so many rumors, and I'm not going to lie and pretend I do know something about that. I really don't. And I've been asked that a million times, and I've actually talked about it with Colt and everything else. And we're just like confounded with it. We're like, what is this thing? And why do we keep hearing about it? Now, the handheld, which we knew about, Project Brooklyn, we had known that for quite a while. That was always going to be like a third-party collaboration. We knew about that. As for now the thing is, what I had originally heard, and this is something that I still think holds somewhat true, is that there was going to be a powerful handheld released, and then there was going to be an under the TV box, like an actual console, and that was going to be for next generation, not for this generation. Then all this stuff came out about this, like, Steam integrated box and this and that, whatever. And to be quite honest, I'm not even going to lie about it. I haven't really even been remotely interested in it. Mm-hmm. Because it's not something I'm interested in. Like, it's just not my thing. I'm not into Steam. I'm a console guy. Always have been. Always will be. I'm just not. I mean, I was a PC gamer like in the 80s and 90s when my dad had a PC Junior, and which cost like $2,000 for 128K back in the day, if you remember that shit.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But no, I didn't. I was never interested in that stuff. And so as for this new console, I'm still not even really interested. I don't know what it is. So I just keep hearing rumors and rumors and rumors, and I decided to myself, you know what? I'm not going to jump all over this because I'm going to end up getting dragged into something that I don't know anything about. I'm not a tech guy, never have been, and so that's the way I kind of left it. So I was just like, no. That's the longest answer I've ever given for like no.
But okay, can you just confirm the existence of something?
There is an existence of a next-gen console, absolutely 100%.
Okay.
That is 100%. Whether they follow through with it is an entirely different thing. That's the other thing. Yeah. A lot of people don't realize something, and this is something I was laughing about with Colt, funny enough. Him and I were talking about it. And we were talking about how, nothing is... When we report on something, or if I report on something, or if I do a video on something or whatever, and it doesn't end up coming to fruition entirely, right? Or the plans change, as plans do change frequently in business. And they're like, okay, well, we're going to launch this in May or whatever, or March. And then all of a sudden it's like April 1st. And then I got people going, Meg, what the fuck, Meg? You fucking liar, Meg. And I'm like, were you literally sitting up until March 31st at 12:01 to fucking message me and say that something didn't come out in March? Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Because you know what happens? They have a meeting. They're like, hey, guys, listen, we were supposed to launch this March 24th, but we're hitting a small delay, so we're going to delay it 3 weeks. We're going to do it like April 13th. The public doesn't know about it, so it doesn't really make a difference, so we're just going to push it up a couple weeks. Like, things like that. But as soon as that happens, we're called liars, grifters, this, that. But I can 100% tell you that what was originally happening was that there was a handheld, because it was going to be a dockable handheld. It was a prototype. Whether that still comes out, I don't think so anymore. I think that this third party handheld was a test to see how is the handheld. No, I think they're doing it as like a risk-averse kind of hardware. So the original plan was to have a dockable handheld made by the Microsoft Surface team. This was even reported by the biggest guns in the business, like your Tom Andersons, Googles, everybody else, all the big IGN, same thing. And they were actually, funny enough, they were all quoting me, which is kind of funny. And it was being produced by the Surface team, supervised by Jason Ronald. At the same time, they're working on a powerful under-the-TV box, which was going to be a dedicated console, whatever, but there would not be a second SKU like a Series S. It would just be the one console for next generation. Now, with plans changing the way they have over time with Project Latitude and this and that, and now it's all about accessibility as opposed to power, I'm starting to wonder. So I'm not saying I have any more news about it, but I'm starting to question what they're going to do moving forward.
Yeah.
Because anything is game now, no pun intended.
Here's what I think with Xbox. You let me know what you think about this, Mag.
Sure.
Just from my business experience, when you sit in a room and managers are making decisions and you're working on a project, there's an in-flight stage. Like, well, there's the preliminary. What is it that we want to do? What is the problem that we're solving, right? And then you come up with the final idea, and so then you walk to the chalkboard, and you write down what the idea is. Okay, this is the idea that we're settled on. Here's how we figure out that we're going to be able to progress through this thing. And here goes the milestones, right? And that's what we call the in-flight stage, or many people call the in-flight stage. Then when you get past that final milestone and you're ready to roll it out, that's the rollout phase. I feel like that what Microsoft does to their own detriment is they start talking about shit while it's in flight, which most businesses don't do. They wait till it's close to the rollout stage. They've hit that final milestone. So like you said, they'll have a concept, and you know they like the concept, and maybe they've hit one milestone out of 4 or 5 of them. And Phil gets on, goes on IGN or something like that, and we're going to be integrating VR, and then they get to milestone number 3, and it's like, well, we hit a roadblock. So then Phil's like, okay, well, we're not going to do VR.
Right.
Do you get a sense that that's a problem within Microsoft, or do you think it's something else?
Well, the thing is, I think they think so far ahead, like especially with their hardware and even sometimes with their software, they get so far ahead of themselves, and they're like, oh, we're doing this, we're doing that. I mean, don't forget they were talking about the cloud in 2013 when they launched the Xbox One.
Yeah.
And everybody laughed because the cloud didn't even fucking exist yet. No, it did, but not like it was in an absolute. It was in an absolute infancy. I mean, we barely even had iPhones at that time, or iPhone technology, excuse me, before even any of that started. I mean, you know what I mean? So it was barely, a concept, and then they're talking about it. People were laughing because they were way too ahead of the situation. I still think there will be a dedicated console that'll come out, because they're still going to always have a way to access their product. And there's no skin off their back to do that, because they're going to charge full price. Don't expect consoles to be anything under $800 next generation, if not more. And because all these companies are done losing money, they took a page from Apple and realized, wait a minute, Apple doesn't lose money on everything. Why the fuck should we? So at that point, even Xbox would say, the Xbox division would say, we don't care if we sell 10 million consoles or 15 million or 20. We're not losing money on that. We don't have warehouses full of them sitting there collecting dust. We're just going to make based on demand, and then they're going to charge accordingly to that, right? So I absolutely see them doing that, because people will still want to access their digital libraries, and of course, also access Game Pass as well. And people will continue to do that. They just won't be the focus.
Yeah,
they'll just be an option. You know what I'm saying? So like when the next console launches, it's not going to be the central focus of the company anymore. It's going to be there. They're going to give it a marketing push. They're going to do the whole thing. However, that's just going to be one of, let's say, 6 different options of how you can consume their product. Because at the end of the day, they just want you to consume. They don't give a shit how you do it. But at the same time, they're also not going to lose money on a business proposition that like risk going up against someone as dominant as Nintendo and Sony in that market. So they will just have it as an option. So yes, long story longer, I think they will continue to have hardware moving forward, and it might even be for a couple of generations. But again, it'll be an option, not the end all
focus. Because not the same.
Yes, because you look at last generation, even the Xbox One, for the first half of it, the only way you could consume an Xbox product was on the Xbox One. It wasn't until later they started going day and date on the PC and all that other stuff, and then they started to expand their options, right? And that also came as a result of not being able to sell the product And now, like I said, it'll just be an option, but it's only gonna be an expensive one because they're not gonna lose money on it. So to them, it's a win-win. They don't really care. They don't really care. They're gonna want to sell on PlayStation as well. That's a big one, you know. But they're gonna have to make the bangers that people want. That's the big thing. I think Gears is gonna be a big one. When Gears Collection comes out there, it's gonna be big. Gears E-Day is gonna be huge, I think, on PlayStation. And they're gonna have to focus on those kind of Fable, I think, is gonna be big on PlayStation, right? So those are all that's another reason why it was delayed, so that they can focus on launching it day and date. And so these are all the things that are gonna happen. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, all right, well, this makes a lot of sense now. I understand. And again, it's risk averse, right? They're avoiding saying, okay, well, our only way to consume our products is by making this one box, and we have to put everything we own and into the stock on this one box, and that's it. Yeah. They're done doing that, right? And as a result, now you look at something like PlayStation. PlayStation doesn't have to do that because they dominate the market, right? And I know people. I don't understand this rhetoric I see out there. People saying, "Oh, it's dead." PlayStation's over, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And you know, the thing is, they're dominating now, and then soon Nintendo, regardless of those prices, people will still buy it. The crazy thing is that you're going to look at it when GTA 6 comes out. And I said this actually on another show. They're going to sell 25 million consoles, and the PlayStation will. Xbox is going to sell consoles too, but But PlayStation's going to cross 110 mil by the time December comes around, by the time Christmas comes around, because of GTA 6. Because it's not on the last generation, right? And you still have 40 something million people still playing on the PlayStation 4 and like 25 million still playing on the Xbox One. That's like almost 70 million people still on the last gen consoles. Exactly. Well, guess what? They're finally going to have to make that jump because there's two reasons. Call of Duty is only this gen.
It is. Okay.
Yes, they've cut off last gen.
Oh shit.
And GTA 6. So imagine in the fall you've got two of the biggest bangers of the year in terms of popularity. And tell me again tell me two things. Tell me that console gaming is dead is number one, and then tell me another fucking bullshit story that the PlayStation is dead. They're not dead. They're going to fucking dominate. And like I said, GTA 6, when they get that marketing deal, that's the other one, which I haven't spoken about. Not yet. I'll be on that earnings call in May. When that goes down, that's a whole other thing. And it's going to be a massive.
So you're saying
sport.
This year, Mag, this year's Call of Duty, they're going to abandon last gen? You're suspecting? Oh, that's the word. Okay. That's what you're suspecting. Okay.
I've heard that from... Oh, I'm not suspecting. I've heard it from like several people that's saying that this is this gen only.
Wow.
I still don't. You know what the funny thing is? I still don't believe it. I still don't believe it. But this is what I'm hearing. Same thing with Gears E-Day. Some fuckface came out and like went wild on me because I said I keep hearing from like them, not fucking some guy on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'm hearing from them that's saying that Gears E-Day is still targeting 2025, and I said that doesn't make sense. And even in my videos, I'm like, I don't really believe this, but I'm reporting it because, I was told by people who are actually working on the fucking game. And it's funny. And then I'm like, but that's what they're saying. And I said, I don't believe it, but that's what I'm hearing. And then some fuckface came after me going wild saying, they didn't even let me get show to the showcase. It's going to be Outer Worlds 2. Your contacts are shit. And I'm like, my contacts work at the coalition, you fucking moron. And it's like, you know what I mean? It's like, but that's, look at, maybe it doesn't get, maybe it gets pushed, but that's what they were told.
Yeah.
They were told to aim for 2025. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, It's just, you got, what it is that you're being collapsed on from multiple sides. Fans, ultra mega fans or neo fans of Xbox who expect you to sit there and sip the Kool-Aid no matter what. And then you have
that's not how it works.
Yeah, you have the neo fans on the PlayStation side that remember the skits and they got hurt and shit. They cried in the corner and shit like that. Instead of doing what the rest of us did and just laughed at them and you know what I mean? They cried in the corner.
Silly.
Oh my god.
Silly.
Yeah.
It's silly. We should just be, like I said before, like I said at the beginning of the show, just enjoy yourself, have fun, man. Like, that's what we're here for. I mean, yeah, we're talking about stuff. We're trying to put out information out there and our thoughts and feelings and everything else. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, fundamentally, we're supposed to be here for fun.
Yep.
You know, enjoying ourselves. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And if people lose sight of that, well, then you've lost sight of the passion of your hobby. You know, and that's I think that sucks. I think that sucks. I feel bad for people like that.
Let me do this. I want to get to the chat. Chat has been bumping. We didn't ignore you guys. I know you guys are mesmerized by it.
Yeah, I'm reading them.
Yeah,
I'm reading the chat. I'm hearing them.
They said David Cowie had a couple of questions. Question one was MM2K Gaming News. Once Phil Goose, do you think Xbox high-end console will join Sega and go full third party if handheld, next gen, or dead on arrival? I think you kind of answered that one already. Let's try this one. If all of Xbox AAA will go to PlayStation this gen, would it be worth to jump to PlayStation next gen and keep Xbox Series X as backwards catalog machines? Is that what you think, Mag, people are going to do? Like for next gen, they're going to jump to PlayStation, but they may not trade their Series X?
Well, because, I mean, what I would do, this is what I would do. If you have a Series X, let's just say, if you still plan on accessing, well, actually, no, you know what the thing is? I'm sorry. I'm sort of like thinking as I'm like, processing the question. Fundamentally, and I've said this on XNC with Colt, and I said, actually, if you think about it, next gen, you could literally just buy a PlayStation 6, and then you're able to access all the Xbox games, all the PlayStation games, and all the third-party games. So essentially, the PlayStation has become the console version of a PC. You're able to access all of those together. So you get the best of all three worlds in one box. If you get just the Xbox, you will get all the Xbox games. You'll have Game Pass as well, and then if you choose to subscribe, and you'll get third party, but you will not get PlayStation. If you go to PC, you will get Xbox, you will get third party, and you'll get some PlayStation, and usually most of those are delayed by years, right? So you'll be getting old PlayStation. So in fact, the only place that you'll be able to get everything brand new would be the PlayStation 6. And that's not some fanboy bullshit. That's just logic, because the answer is literally in front of you. That's the thing. And then people say, well, you can always do that. I'm like, yeah, if you have a huge back catalog, then my suggestion would be to keep an old console. If you plan on still playing those games, I would keep an old Xbox console just to have it, so that you still have access to it. However, they are working on a solution for moving forward that you will still be able to access all your back catalog via cloud in one way or another. So it could be something as simple as a Fire Stick, and then you punch in your gamer tag, and all your stuff is there. Now, right? And so that's an option they're working on.
So, and we were talking about this with Will. Will, I don't know if you're in the chat listening, Will Sing. We were talking about this. What do you think they're going to do with hard copy games, like like games that you bought physical copies of? Like, you think they're going to have a program where they let you trade it in for a digital license? Because it's not going to be a problem for Xbox games, but I see it being causing heartburn for third party games.
Well, they didn't they talk about that, having a program of doing that? You trade in.
Yeah, they were
trade in a physical
that.
copy, and they'll give you like a key code, and you just punch it in. You got the digital copy of the game, and then you're still able to access all your saves and everything, through via cloud or whatever. So yeah, it was not an issue, but I don't know what's going to happen there. I'm not really. Here's the thing. This is the thing that I don't hang on. To a lot of old stuff.
Oh, my old shit. I don't give a fuck about it.
Like I have hundreds, if not thousands of games I've bought. Well, obviously thousands of games over the years. Over the years I've bought. I'm not crying if I don't have them. I don't have access to them because I'm not playing them anymore. Because usually what happens is, once I've done my time with that game, and let's say I've got my 1,000 out of 1,000 achievements, or I got my platinum trophy, or whatever I'm doing,
Yeah.
Once I've done that, I have laid waste to that game.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to that game.
Yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
I got a platinum on what's it called? Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
What a fucking ball breaker that was, by the way, to get the platinum on that one. And then I got the same thing on Jedi Survivor because my wife wanted to play, so I bought Jedi Survivor on PlayStation 5, right? And I got the platinum on that one too. I am never going back to that game. What am I going to do? Stare at the tile for the next 10 years? Like, there's no point. It's done.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, I don't care about it. Like, it's there, and it's not like some locust mentality where I'm just like, I'm just going to consume and move on. No, I'm just done with it. And you know what I mean? That's all there is to it.
That's most gamers, though. There's a vocal minority. And I know people were mad at Donnie D for this because Donnie D at the beginning of last gen said people don't play old games. And there are, I mean, he didn't mean that literally. Of course, there's people that play old games, but the majority of gamers, once they're done with the game, unless it's like a cult favorite, kind of like, what was it, Black Ops, one of the Black Ops games, and then one of my cult favorites is Borderlands 1. Like, I'll play that any day, all day, but 99.99999% of the games, even the ones that I really enjoyed, I'm not going back to them. It's over.
Done.
It's done.
It's done. It's over. Like, there's no point. It's like you done the game. It's over with. You just move on. And the thing is, there's going to be 25 other games that come out the next year. You're going to forget all about it, and that's all there is to it.
Exactly.
I would rather. Now, the thing is, I don't mind paying for it. I don't mind paying for the game because, the price paid for the amount of content, garnered from it is totally legitimate, and I have no problem with that either. Because I'm like, well, if I bought a game for $70 and I put 130 hours into it, I got my money's worth and then some. Yeah, because when I take my kids to the fucking movies, it costs me $180 for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
So tell me how that makes sense. But people are bitching about $70, and I'll spend $160 to go to the movie theater, and then the popcorn, then the drinks, then a box of peanut covered M&Ms, and this and that, and the next thing you know, you spend $160 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so we're bitching about 100. No one bats an eye for $160 to go to the movies for 90 minutes.
Yeah.
But people are freaking out $70, and you get literally dozens, if not sometimes hundreds of hours worth. Of a game, right? Of digital content. It's insanity. Yeah. So, anyways, whatever. That's a whole other conversation.
And if you don't feel like the game is providing you that, then don't get by. Now, that brings us, I think, to a quick pivot that I wanted to get your take on real quick, because the segue would be towards, what do you think about what's going on with Nintendo? I don't know if you've heard my take and heard Cold Blood's take. I was in the market for a Switch too, because I would watch my son play the Switch 1 games, and I would want to play them, but I can't play at no sub 30 frames per second. And so when I see the new performance on this one, I was looking at the $450 USD price in comparison to other handhelds, and I was like, in comparison to other handhelds, that's the shit. But then I start seeing stuff like the $90 game or price tag for Mario Kart, and I'm like, holy fuck, I don't like the Pandora's box this is opening. Yes. And then the dynamic of, now the Switch made a more powerful unit that is going to invite day one games across the board, like Borderlands 4. Borderlands 4 is now supposedly launching day one on Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox. So I'm like, fuck, everybody was bitching about the Series S holding back games. Well, what do you think the Switch would do if this becomes more pandemic? Those are my concerns. But they've heard me bitch and complain, and me and Cold Blood talk about this all week. What does Meg think about this? How does Meg settle on this whole thing with the Switch?
The thing is, listen, Nintendo could do whatever they want. Yeah. We're not owed anything. It's not like, but I'm not defending them at all. Like, don't get that twisted, anybody in the chat. I'm not defending them at all. But as a company, they could charge whatever they feel like. And if they're like, well, we want to charge $100 a game, if you're there, you're there. If you're not, you're not. But there are a lot of people out there saying they can't do this. And I'm like, yes, they can. They can do whatever they want. Now, the thing is, it's the reaction of the customers that's going to, dictate how that moves forward. However, my problem is up here in Canada, we're getting absolutely screwed over this.
Yeah.
And it is expensive. Now the console up here, just the console alone is $700.
Jesus fucking Christ, bro.
Right? Bundled with Mario Kart World is $800 for the console. There's no scenario where I can justify $800 for a Nintendo console that does not have the power. Right? And that's what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's where I'm having the issue, because that is insanity. Now, if you think that's insane, wait for this. So the games now at $80 a pop, US, translates to $128.99 Canadian per game.
Wow.
And that's for a digital game. Now, if indeed the rumors are true that they're going to have $90 for the physical, they have not come out and said it because they're probably afraid to, but they haven't officially said anything about it. That would translate to, you ready for this, folks? $148.77 per game in Canada. That's $150 fucking dollars.
Wow.
So it's not so much the rhetoric around the pricing, it's just the pricing is just becoming unaffordable.
Yeah.
You know, I have to set up a fucking OnlyFans account, and start swinging my dick around, I don't know, to make money to buy a Switch, or who knows? You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I have to set up a GoFundMe.
Shit, yeah.
Set up a GoFundMe so I can buy a fucking Switch for my kids. Yeah. But, like, it's insane. So we were even looking at trade-ins, and we were looking at, we were looking at, like, I have a Switch OLED, which is worth something, right? So I'm like, okay, well, we can get some money for this. Plus, they got a bunch of games and this and that. They got, like, one of those extra pro controllers and all that shit. And then I'm like, well, just trade it all in. Trade it all in. You probably get $250 for it, maybe even $300 for everything all in there, right? And actually, they even have a Wii upstairs, brand new. It's not brand new, but I mean, it's mint condition Wii with a bunch of games. They could still get $100 for that for trade-in too. Okay. And so I'm like, all right, you guys can get like $300. And I'm like, but you realize it's still $500 after
you're still
that.
$5 short.
And then their faces, my poor kids' faces, were just like, they're like this. They're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, dude, I am sorry to be that guy, but that's the reality. So, anyways, what it does, to answer your question on top of that, what it does is that it sets a dangerous precedent. Yeah. Now, the thing is, I think that this is what the companies have all been waiting for, to be quite honest. And you can absolutely bet that Grand Theft Auto is going to be minimum $80 to $90. That would be my guess. My guess is 80. But it's just a guess. Now, the thing is, someone did mention something interesting, which does make a lot of sense, and I think that this is something that may happen, because you remember that there was dynamic pricing back in the 90s based on budgets and stuff, right? And that happened with Nintendo. You remember that? I mean, even with the Super Nintendo, with the cartridges, some of them were $60, some of them were $100, like depending on whatever. I can absolutely see them charging more for AAA like bangers that cost like $250, $300 million. I can see them charging upwards of $90 to $100 for those to justify the cost. Now, this also opens up a dangerous precedent, but I'll get to that in a minute. The thing is by doing that, you see, the thing is, they've already been hinting at us that that's what they were going to do to begin with. Let me explain myself. Why do you think every fucking game that comes out has a 5-day early access for $100? Because they know that the people with the FOMO are going to buy it, and the companies are saying that's what we should have been charging to begin with, and that's why they keep doing it. Even on Game Pass, they charge you $20 for early access, so you're getting the subscription, plus you're getting the $20, $30
I think it was
sometimes.
30 for Starfield, wasn't it? 30 for Starfield.
It was 30, and it was 35, I think, for Forza Horizon 5. So guess what? At the end of the day, just like a casino, they got their $100 per game. And that's what they've been. That's basically what they're trying to tell us, is that that's what the games are supposed to cost nowadays. Now, this is all going to work for their benefits. You ready? I'm going to go down this rabbit hole here. I'll only be a couple of minutes here, because I'm not going to be here all fucking night talk about this shit. But listen to this. This is going to blow some people's minds. I am telling you right now that this is exactly what they want. You know why they want the outrage? They want people pissed off at these prices. Here's why. They have been investing for the last 8 years or so in AI. I know that's a topic of conversation with a lot of people for a lot of reasons, controversial reasons, some not, some are. But hear me out. This is what they want. This is the play. You ready for the play? Average developer in the United States makes $136,000 a year. That is fucking ludicrous. And that's for an average developer. Some guy coloring fucking trees like Bob Ross. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm going to make myself a little happy. I'm going to make myself a little happy accident here as I'm painting a tree in Halo Infinite for $200,000 a fucking year. And then there's 500 of them or 1,000 of them making a game. And then people going, well, AAA games aren't sustainable because they cost too much. Do you know why? Because 80% of the fucking budget costs are salaries. It's not the technology. It's not the games. It's not the computers. It's not the PCs. It's not the engines. It's the people. It's the people. So you know what the corporation is going to do? They're going to say, don't worry, folks. We got it. We got this. It's not going to take 1,000 people 7 years to make fucking Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Pop.
Right. And no, sorry, that's average. Most are making above that. Right? So it's not going to take 1,000 people 7 years to make AC Shadows, folks. We can do it in 2. You know why? We're going to fire 65% of the staff because the AI will be able to color trees, no problem. They'll be able to render. They'll also be able to do this. I'm not making fun of devs. I'm just saying this is what they do. Previs, storyboards, all that shit. What do you think people are doing now on Twitter and I'm like, how can they make a storyboard? Just talk to the AI and say, hi, can you make a picture of Donald Trump in Arnold Schwarzenegger's body strangling a fucking elephant? No problem. And then all of a sudden you see a picture of like Donald Trump with huge muscles strangling an elephant. That's what a storyboard is. So you know what a guy would do? A guy writes a story treatment for, let's say, a game, and then says, okay, we're doing an adventure game. It's going to be like Uncharted. The guy's going to look like this. He's going to have a crowbar mustache. He's going to have this and that. He's going to be swinging from vines and doing all this and shooting bad guys. And then you know what the AI is going to do? Spit out 80 to 100 storyboard pictures, which used to be 25 people. That used to be 25 people that used to hand draw those storyboards and put them up on the wall, right? So you could follow the story. And that's what, like, look at Hollywood. You've seen, like, how Hollywood does that, the storyboards, they have them on the walls. And, like, Spielberg will walk up or Lucas will walk up and be like, I want that stormtrooper to fall down this way, and I want the Sarlacc to grab Lando Calrissian by the dick and pull him in the hole, and this and that and whatever, right? And so that's what's going to happen. And so you know what's going to the same thing. You just fired 25 people because AI will be able to spit out those storyboards, no problem. The story still written by a human, corrected by AI. You fired another 10 people. Coloring trees, fire another 200 people for the people doing all that work, the 3D art, the lighting effects, all that stuff. Now here's another thing. AI don't sleep. It don't take vacations. It doesn't eat tuna Niçoise salads for 2 hours at lunch in San Diego instead of fucking working. They don't cry about crunch. They don't cry about crunch. They don't worry about this. They don't get pregnant. They don't have to go home and feed their kids. They don't have to take the kids to soccer practice. That thing is working while you're sleeping. So it's going 24 hours a day. So now the development time of a new Gears of War will take 2 years instead of 7. And you know what the thing is? Customers won't fucking care who gets fired. You know why? Because think about this. Go to your grocery store. Go look down the aisle and see the 25 empty cash registers. But right next to it, you see the self-checkout, right? You do your self-checkout, you beep your own shit, you walk out the door. Does anybody stay up at night worrying about what happened to the 25 people that used to have the job that at the cash register, or do they just go to sleep at night and not give a fuck because they just they self-checked out their watermelon and they went home or whatever, right? Or their $300 carton of eggs, right? So you do that and you go home. When cars started to be automated by robots and built by robots, not just Tesla, all of them are doing it, right? Did anybody lose sleep over that? Did I go to bed and did cold blood sit up rolling around at night in a cold sweat going, the BMWs are being built by robots. What about the people? No, nobody gives a fuck. You know what they give a fuck about? The product. They don't think about that stuff. You think they're going to give a shit about the developers when 60% of them get fired from the Coalition or from Naughty Dog or from Ubisoft or whatever because AI has taken over the majority of the redundant jobs that could be done easily. That's what's going to happen. You know what they're going to care about? They're going to care that it's 2025 and they get a new God of War, and then 2027 you get God of War Egypt. Then 2029 you're going to get God of War Australia. Then you're going to get 2031 you're going to get God of War Mars or whatever.
Yeah,
you're going to get the games every 2 years in fast cadence and cheaper. At not maybe not cheaper entirely, but at a steady price. Why? Because you have removed the human element, and that's what the corporations want. They have spent billions of dollars in this, and I'm not saying it's right, folks. I'm just saying this is the play. So what's happening now with Nintendo is the pebble in the water that's going to start the waves, and I can guarantee you, you can clip the last 5 minutes of what I just said, and you will bring this back 5 years to 10 years from now within the span before 2030, and 100% of what I just said is going to happen. I
agree. I agree. Again, not I agree with, this is what should be happening. I agree that that's the approach they're going to take. And again, not to bring up Stadia, guys, but this is why I said you guys, even if you didn't like the product, which most of y'all that said y'all didn't like it, just didn't try it. But you should have been listening to the shit that was being talked about. Google, one of the top 5 companies in the world. It was a thing they had called Project Chimera, headed up by one of the smartest people on the planet. Her name is Aaron Hoffman-John. Aaron was heading up Project Chimera that, like you said, Mag, is AI used to handle the redundancy work, the coloring in the trees, to just expand in the landscape. And they said that they were going to make sure that Project Chimera wasn't going to affect the creative process, the writing and shit like that, like it was going to do the grunt work. Because it's like you said, you got a whole bunch of people that are doing the grunt work that are making on average $100,000+ an hour. Why not get AI to color in the trees? Why not get AI to put in grass? Now, when it comes to the storyboard and the gameplay mechanics and shit like that, that's
what I'm talking about. I'm not talking.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about the. I'm not talking about the actual. The art form itself of writing.
You're talking about the grunt work, the grunt shit.
I'm talking about the grunt work, which is Corey Massey, which is 90% of what the game is.
Yeah.
Right? It's 90% of that is actually the grunt work that is just somebody dragging a mouse and coloring in this, drawing that, rendering this, doing that. And that's going to be all automated. And if you think I'm wrong, it's not. And you know what, Corey Massey, I'll tell you right now, I'm reading this guy's stuff in the chat here.
Yeah.
Right? And you're 100% wrong. Because if you didn't do that, then you won't be driving a fucking car. Then you shouldn't be going to the grocery store. Then you shouldn't be going to the movie theater. You know why? Because movie theaters are 100% automated now. They got rid of all the projector technicians, and they changed them all to computers. Then I could just go on forever if you want. I could just keep going on, because then you'll be using no product at all. I'm not supporting it. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
What they're going to do.
He says, I will not support games made by AI. But then get out of your car. Then walk to work.
Or bruh, it's gonna happen. I tried to tell you guys 4 years ago. Look, this video right here.
Get off Twitter. Twitter's run by robots now. It's no longer run by people. There's 5 people, I think, that run fucking Twitter, and they run it. They're just the supervisors. Now, there's always going to be a head of, like I said, for the creative process, the story. You cannot mimic the human element, right? And that's the other thing AI cannot do, and that's where you get the human element, the conflicts and all that kind of stuff. That's where
Xbox has to be careful, though, Mag, because they were. I think, was it Tim Stewart? I think somebody had hinted that they were going to use AI for story purposes. I could have my wires crossed. But that's where they have to be. But I totally agree with you. Whether I agree with the process or not, Corey, like Mag is saying, companies are going to do this. Now, I get where if people get their panties in a bunch about the creative process being interrupted by AI, but that's not what we're saying here. And we tried to tell you this years ago. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. No. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that's not what we're saying at all. The creative process will always be the creative process, because a computer can try to understand a human emotion, but they do not understand the full the full potential of like I said, love, conflict, different interest, fear, things like that. They can't. They don't understand the nuances of being human. That was a great way to describe it. Yeah. Right. The nuances of being human are far more complicated than people give credit for. However, 80% of a video game, if not 90% of a video game, is not about that. It's about the mechanics, the game loop, the running, the gunning, the grabbing, the stabbing, the shooting, the whatever, right? The driving. That has nothing to do with the human experience. That is just something you're doing while you're playing the game. Like, you play Star Wars Outlaws. What are you doing? You're running, you're sneaking, you're gunning, you're shooting, you're bopping people on the head, you're talking to people and this and that, whatever. But the thing is, that's not like The Last of Us. The Last of Us, all the elements of the story and all the emotion and everything else that happens to that happen in the cutscenes. Yeah. It doesn't happen like while you're walking around hiding in the grass. It's happening during the cutscenes. So the majority of the game, when you're actually playing the game, is literally can be recreated by the computer, and that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, there are gameplay elements to where I feel like, like for instance, Bungie with the gunplay, like that are part of the art too. Getting that gunplay together, Corey and others that are doubtful or don't understand what we're saying, those parts will still be handled by the human element. Yeah.
But I'm saying if you have a team of 1,000. If you have a team of 1,000, you'll still have 400 people. Yeah. They're gonna fire 600.
Look, let's keep it real, man. You got to pull the scab off. Motherfuckers might be 200, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what I'm saying. That's how much grunt work. I urge you guys, and again, this is great stuff coming from Meg, but I urge you guys, please. And I've had the luxury to have conversations online with Aaron Hoffman John, who was spearheading this project. The way they were marketing it is they were saying a team of 7 could make a game the size of World of Warcraft. How? Because World of Warcraft, most of that shit is grunt programming. If you let the team of 7 deal with the creative, they will be able to have 93% of that shit, which is the grunt work, handled by AI. And I'm telling you guys, now Microsoft may have to be careful with it. By the way, some execs have talked about it, but these average companies, even Sony, a lot of this grunt work and coloring in the trees and all that and putting the car here and a lot of that stuff is going to be handled by AI as far as like the landscapes are concerned. And then you're going to have creatives come in behind the scenes and then just polish it. You know what I mean?
Yep. And the other thing is too is like, for example, I'll give you another example that's not in the video game world. And this is something that's slowly but quickly starting to evolve and change, not for the better, not for people, but better for the corporations, because the corporation doesn't care about you. The corporation cares about making money and taking care of themselves. That's always going to be the way, and that's always the way it is. I'm not saying you have to accept it. It's just the way it is. Here's another example. Go to a Marvel movie or a sci-fi movie or a special effects heavy movie, and you see when you're waiting for the fucking end credits scene and you're waiting for like Thor to show up and you're like, oh, is Thor going to show up in the end credits? And you're there for 25 fucking minutes because there's like 65,000 people who worked on that movie, because what are those people? Those people aren't the directors or the writers or the people who said, okay, guys, do that line with a lot more emotion, and I want you to do this and this, to make the movie from an average movie to a great movie. Those are a handful of people that do that. The 64,500 other names on that list are the grunt workers that will be taken over by AI computations. So they're going to get, like, for example, you feed the AI images of whatever, Thor and Loki and like fucking Doctor Doom, okay? And they're having an action scene together. You tell the AI what's going on and what it's doing, whatever, and they will do the special effects for you. Where it would have taken 25,000 South Korean guys 2 years to do those VFX shots. It'll take the AI 1 month, right? And this is what they're going for. But like I said, the people don't care. The sheep don't care. You know why? They're going to go to the theater and they're going to see Thor punch Dr. Doom in the face, and that's all they want to see. They don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care how the sausage is made. They just want the sausage, and that's what's going to happen. And it's a sad reality. So when it comes to this Nintendo thing, in a very long roundabout way, this is exactly what's going to happen. And this is all starting with this pricing, and they're loving the fact that people are hating the pricing because they're going to go, oh, you guys hate the pricing? Well, we have a way out.
Ain't that some shit? Ain't that a bitch? I never even thought about it that way, Meg. I'm glad you brought that out. Yeah, because they're probably salivating over this shit, and they're like,
this is what I do, brother. I analyze this stuff. I deal with this stuff. I deal with corporations all day. I know how the monster thinks.
Mm-hmm.
I know how the enemy moves. And that's the only way, and the only way to understand them is to really get in there and, like, you know what I mean? Walk like them, talk like them, act like them. You know what I mean? What did Sun Tzu say? Know thy enemy, right? That's the only way that you could do that stuff, is understanding how the beast operates. Once you understand that and you're not on the outside anymore, now you're going, motherfucker. Then you start seeing stuff that you kind of wish you didn't see, because you see where things are going. And it's not going to be great for a lot of people. It really does suck. But that's the reality.
And how it's going to work in the back end is, like, say all those people that develop the grunt workers, say if their salaries accumulate, you know, like let's take Spider-Man 2, for example, which I love that fucking game. I think it's one of the best games made and anywhere ever. I mean, not ever, but, you know, in a while.
Yep.
So we know the budget was what? Wasn't the budget $350 million?
It was $250 something, and then when they added aftermarket, it's not aftermarket.
Like
what the hell am I talking about? Sorry, marketing, advertising, and then any kind of licensing fees. It ended up being close to $350. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, about $350.
So let's just say opposite of the marketing, which sounds like it was $100 million. Let's just say out of that $250. $200 million was from the grunt workers, which in all likelihood it is, like, because the handful of people probably equaled the $50 million in salaries, if not a little bit more. Let's just say $75 million.
All right.
To save themselves that other $175 million, they're going to license AI for $50 million.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that $50 million AI that they licensed is going to not just be $50 million for Spider-Man. It's going to be $50 million for Last of Us. It's going to be Intergalactic or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to save themselves that much money.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, the thing is, outside of a company like Sony, who's not directly working with they're not developing AI. But if you notice that these other companies are developing, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, Google, they're creating their own AI. Why? So that it's all in-house and they're not spending they're spending the money on it now, but that's an investment for them later when they save literally hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's crazy.
It is insane, but that's what's going to happen. And this Nintendo situation is literally going to be the catalyst for, and people think I'm fucking crazy, but you know what? And if you believe, if you like to say, well, shooting the Tsar started World War I. Who the fuck ever would have thought that would have happened? Well, this is the same idea. Sometimes the simplest little things can spark an entire revolution, not for the better, or evolution, also not for the better, but it will and can. And that's how these things happen. Like, how there's that saying, not to get all fucking sloppy on everybody, but it's like the flapping of a butterfly's wings can create a hurricane on the other side of the planet. Right? It's the simplest little things that could be a catalyst for something much bigger. And that's what I'm seeing. And that's what I'm seeing moving forward. And that's what's going to happen. But again, the crowd is fickle, brother, as they say in Gladiator in the Colosseum. The crowd is fickle, brother.
We got a couple of comments from Juice. Juice says, people lose their jobs because of technology and financial reasons daily. He says, as long as my games work, I will play them. My job is currently trying to develop automated X-ray imaging machines. And he continues, I work in radiology research and development. Nothing will ever stop technology, especially when it saves companies money. Absolutely not.
And so why would anybody be ignorant to think that it would stop at the video games industry, which is a 100% digital industry?
And which ballooned. It is. Remember when Dead Space 2 Dead Space 2 cost $50 million to make and market. That same game today would be $500 million to make and market. It's ballooned 10 times over, and we're not paying 10 times over. Now, again, I'm not advocating at all, because
me neither.
I I do not want. I cannot understand why Nintendo needs to charge up to $90 for a fucking game. And I get a lot of people are bringing up the cartridge era, but the cartridge era, you remember Legend of Zelda 2, where it had the battery in it and all other shit. Well, there are no more batteries in the game that help you save it. Now you got to buy hard drives, and then the game got to check it online. So there's a whole bunch of auxiliary costs that even though you're not paying it exactly in the game, they are embedded into what you got to pay on top of it. So you haven't relieved yourself so much of the cost. So I'm not, again, like, we're not justifying it, but when costs have gone up 10 times, normally what you take in goes up 10 times, or you're making 10 times the cuts. You motherfuckers are not going to pay them 10 times the amount, so they're going to have to make 10 times the cuts. Like, something's got to give. These are businesses. Something's got to give.
And like I said, the customers won't care because the customers are getting, God of War and Gears every 2 years. That's all they care about. They're like, oh, got another one. I got another one. I got another one. I got another one. And it's like I said, just the hypocrisy of it is insane to think that people are going to care when you don't care about how your car's made. You don't care about who's projecting the film in the movie theater. Yeah. Right? You're not thinking about that shit. You're there to watch the movie. You're not thinking that the guy lost his job. The other man who just spoke in the chat about the radiology situation, he's going to lose his job. You know what I encourage my kids to do? My kids are still young, but I'm encouraging my kids. I'm like, say, listen, guys, no bullshit, no lies. These days, it ain't worth it being in the business world or any of these other things. Or go learn a trade. Yeah, go learn a trade because they're making a fucking fortune. And you know what? Right now, you've got plumbers out there making $250,000 a year, living in $2 million houses. You've got people who are graduating from university with $200,000 in debt, making 35 grand. Making 35 grand a year, and then in 2 years, 3 years, the job's going to be obsolete because it's going to be taken over by automation. Go learn how to fix a fucking toilet. Go learn how to wire a house. Yep. Go do stuff that cannot be, mimicked by that. Learn how to cook. Do all this kind of stuff. Yeah, okay. The people are like, well, there's robots that can cook. Okay, I've seen them. They make a fucking omelet and they suck at it. Okay, try to make 25 omelets at once, like I used to be able to do. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You can't mimic that like certain things that some of us do. The things I said, get your hands dirty, kids. I said, because that's going to be your only way forward, and that's going to be the survival of the future. Everything else is going to be automated. And as a result, don't waste your time, kids, because you're just going to... You know what? I've even spoke to developers, by the way, and I speak to a lot of developers and project managers and regional managers that work for all these different studios from PlayStation all the way over to Xbox and in between. And you know what some of them have said to me? They literally said to me, we've priced ourselves out of our career. And they know it. That's the thing. They know it. They know it. They've literally said, we've priced ourselves out of a career. And because they're getting paid as much as they can now, and they're probably like, well, fuck, we might as well get what we can while we can. You don't think they know AI's coming? They know AI's coming, man. Look what happened in Hollywood. Hollywood went on strike last year because AI was writing the fucking scripts. Yeah. And they got caught. Yep. And then the Actors Guild went fucking wild, and then, you know what I mean, and everything else, right? And then they realized that what was happening is the studios were using AI to do script treatments and all this and drafts and everything else, and that's why they went on strike.
And that's why these game companies these publishers are not going through and allowing them to unionize. You know what I mean? They're not allowing.
They don't want them unionized. No. They don't want you unionized. And that's why you see, by the way, the emergence of the Eastern market now, like the Asian games, South Korea, China, Japan are now starting to come back to the forefront of gaming. Why? Because their games are cheaper. Their salaries are like 1/10 of what I'm not. Like I said, I'm not advocating. I'm just saying this is a reality. Yeah. Their salaries are like 1/10 of what they're paying like the North Americans. These guys will work 16 hours, 17 hours a day and be like, fuck it, we're just going to keep working. That's what they do over there. Yeah. It's a different world, baby. It's a different world over there. They don't fuck around. They just keep working and working and working. And like I said, I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's what they do.
That's part of the culture and it's available. Yeah.
and the budgets are way less. Go look at the budget of Stellar Blade and then compare that to AC Shadows. And I had just as much fun playing Stellar Blade. I think Stellar Blade was my 2024 game of the year.
Exactly. Yeah, that's same here. Oh, I love Stellar Blade. Yeah,
Stellar Blade's an incredible game. And that game costs what compared to like AC Shadows or any of these other games and everything else. And then when what's his face, Sean Layden said that it was not sustainable, he was talking about the salaries. He wasn't talking about computer software programs and new monitors to make games on. He was talking about the people. If you understand corpo speak, that's what it was. Jenna Hayes in the chat. By the way, Jenna Hayes, isn't that a porno star? I saw her name in there somewhere. Jenna Hayes. Yeah,
there she goes. MM2K.
This white dude. First of all, I'm not white. I'm Italian. I'm olive. So you better get that shit out of your mouth, all right? The white dude.
It's called sneaky
olive.
Popcorn candy. Hey, I take offense to that. My wife does that shit, but hey, I don't do that shit.
Listen,
sneaking the fucking popcorn and shit.
If you're the real Jenna. If you're the real Jenna Hayes, like hit me up on Twitter. And my DMs are always open, all right?
Oh shit! This is Hey, I take offense, and I hate when my wife does that shit, man. I'm like, why the fuck? She'll go buy a big ass like.
Oh no, I don't care about that stuff. The only thing I bring in is food.
A 4.5 foot bag of popcorn and try to sneak it in her small ass purse. I'm like, come on, man.
You know, the only thing I can't do in a movie theater is drink booze because I'm like, 30 minutes in, I'm gonna have to piss. Like, there's no point.
And shit. Yeah, snore.
Yeah, like there's no point. I can't do it, man. I mean, if I'm drinking, I'm drinking. I'm going hard, and that's all.
These new seats that they have in there, that recliner seats.
Dude, I fall asleep. The recliner seat.
Yeah, I could have fucking scotch in there. Yeah, I'd be snoring.
You feed me alcohol and yeah, you feed me alcohol in a recliner. It's fucking over, dude.
Yeah, it's over, dude.
I'm asleep. Yeah, I'm there for the movie. Yeah. Anyways, I'm playing. Sorry. Sorry, going back to the beginning of the show.
So let's do that real quick, and then I got to give you the floor and an opportunity to do something. So I'm gonna squeeze that in there. But real quick, what have you been playing this week, Mac?
I've been playing. I'll tell you something. It's a stellar game, man. Star Wars Outlaws. Okay. Now that my formula for Ubisoft is this: buy Ubisoft games 8 months to a year after release, and buy them for 70% off. That's the best way to
Coldblood that he won't listen. Coldblood didn't I try to tell you that?
AC Shadows by Black Friday is going to be like $30. And it's going to have all the bugs fixed and all the quality of life stuff fixed and everything else. Well, they did the same thing with Star Wars Outlaws, and the game is a fucking 9 out of 10. I'm telling you right now, they cleaned this game up.
He must not be listening because that's what he said.
No. You don't lie on me. You don't lie on me unchecked. I bought Shadows only at launch because of the collector's edition.
Yeah.
Only
did I tell you to buy your Ubisoft games late?
Bro, always buy your Ubisoft games late, man. Always.
Yes, absolutely. If you do not want any collector's edition that is limited, yes.
Yep. No, Coldblood's been preaching that. He's been preaching that since 2022. He used to, because I was a big Ubisoft fan. Now, it's just like I'm interested to see what's going on with Division 3, and that's fucking it. But yeah, he would tell me all the time, dude, like I wouldn't dare wait. I'm waiting for that shit to go on sale, at 70% off, for them to fix the bugs. And I'd be like, oh, get your ass out of here. So I just wanted to make sure he was listening. He wasn't sleeping shit.
That's what I do, man. $30 for Ubisoft games a year later when everything's fixed, or 8 months to a year later, everything's fixed. I'm telling you, Star Wars Outlaws is
good now.
Flawless.
Yeah,
it is so good. I'm playing it on the Pro. Yeah, Geek the Sneak, you got it right, dude. That's how I roll too, brother. Listen, the graphics are amazing, the gameplay's amazing, 4K 60, the whole 9 yards. The thing is buttery smooth. It's just fantastic game overall. Sound design is amazing. The musical score is incredible. You really feel like you're in the original trilogy. It takes place between Empire and Jedi. You run into some old characters there. Lando Calrissian's in it. Jabba the Hutt's in it. You run into a bunch of side characters. It's wonderful. Great game. So it's right now, I'm telling you, it's a 9 out of 10. I rolled credits on it, but I'm going to go for that platinum. I'm also playing on my channel. I'm playing live on my channel, which I'll be playing tonight, actually. is Split Fiction with my son.
Okay.
And
okay.
Split Fiction, I can tell you this, folks. Split Fiction is 100% my game of the year so far. No game has even come close to how good Split Fiction is. And unless something really blows it out of the water, Split Fiction is going to be up there, if not the heavily favored game of the year for game of the year. It is that fucking good. It is like It Takes Two times 1,000.
Okay.
It is that much better than It Takes Two, and just a phenomenal game. So Split Fiction, I'm playing with my son. We're on the second last level of the game. Absolutely stunning 10 out of 10 game.
Yeah,
I'm playing that right now. Yeah, I'm not just whatever. I'm telling you how it is. It's a fucking 10 out of 10. I also rolled credits on what's that, brother?
No, so I hear nothing but good stuff about that game.
Oh, it's amazing. The other one I just rolled credits on. I rolled credits on South of Midnight. And I gave it now I'm doing this new thing. I'm gonna be very brief about this. So on my channel, I'm starting like actual game reviews, right? So I do my videos, I do my live streams with my son. Sometimes I do live streams with my wife, which we call Till Death Do Us Part, and the two of us play co-op games together. We've been playing Space Marine 2. It's been hilarious, man. A lot of fun, a lot of jokes, a lot of sexual innuendos and shit. My wife's a hardcore gamer, so we have a lot of fun, right? So now the other thing I'm going to be doing is going to be called Marinated Games with Meg. And what that means, obviously, it's a tip of the hat to my chef days and everything else. I mean, I'm still an executive chef now, but on a different level. But what I'm going to do is that instead of racing to number one to always be like, oh, I got the review copy. I got to stay up for fucking 36 straight hours and finish this game so I can get the review out first. I'm not doing that. I don't give a shit about that. Y'all can run the race.
Yeah. I'm
just going to stand back here and I'm going to be like, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to let the game sit for weeks, sometimes 2 weeks, maybe even 3 weeks, maybe 1 week. I don't know, depending on how I feel about it. And then I'm going to allow the game to marinate in my brain and then just really soak it in, because when you do something right away or whatever, you may not be getting the most genuine response as to how you're feeling. Like, for example, let's say you and I go see the newest Transformers movie, right? We're sitting in there, we got popcorn, we got this and that, we're having, and it's loud and it's an IMAX and all this crazy shit's going on. We walk out of there hyped. We're going to be like, whoa, that movie was fucking crazy. Oh man, did you see the building explode? Then all of a sudden, a week later, you're like, you know what? That movie wasn't that good, right? It was okay, but the more I think about it, it's like,
okay,
it was all right, I guess.
I get what you.
So
okay.
So that's what I'm going to do with games. I'm going to finish them. I'm going to consume them, and then I'm going to let them sit for like a week or two with me, and then I'm going to go back and then review it after I've had time to meditate on it for a couple of weeks, and really let the experience sink into me, right? And that's what I'm doing. So it's going to be called Marinated Games with Meg. So what I did is, like South of Midnight, I finished already. Before it launched, I rolled credits on it, right? And I initially gave it a 7.5. The longer the game sits with me now, I'm giving it an 8, right? Because now I'm like, you know what? I really appreciated, the music in the game. I loved that. I loved how they captured Southern culture of music, the combination of music and food. Right? I really enjoyed that. And that started to, make the score go up a little bit more. Her jumping was fucking atrocious. And the running was fucking ridiculous. She looked like, it was worse than, what was that fucking Spider-Man movie, the one I hated? Not the first Miles Morales one, the second one. I didn't not like that one. It was even more jumpier than that one. Because how the first Miles Morales movie was a little bit, it was the frames, like the frames per second, they fuck with it to make it look jittery.
Yeah.
The first movie was okay, but the second movie was so egregious with it that it literally made me sick watching it. It was like it was kind of like that. I did not like that. So I just didn't like the movement and stuff like that. But other things did line up, right? I'm like, the art style was great, this and that, whatever. So like I said, as each day passes, I'm marinating this game in my system, and now I'm starting to appreciate or depreciate more things about it. So yes, So that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So I just rolled credits on that game too. So 3 games there that I got, and I'm almost finished Split Fiction. And then I'm going to be moving on to Expedition 33. And then from Expedition 33, I will be, I'll be going into Doom, the Dark Ages.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. That is a great perspective to have, because you're not caught up in the hype of something. You let it settle, and then you come back to it later. That's a great approach.
You know who else? You know who else does that? Which I sort of got a little bit of inspiration from was Angry Joe. Angry Joe does a game review a month after it comes out. Have you noticed that? I don't know if you watch him or whatever.
Yeah, I
or
catch
some people
stuff.
Yeah, like here and there, like I'll see his stuff. Like I'm subscribed to him, so like I watch, like if it's something I really want to watch, I'll sit there and watch one of his things. But he does game reviews a month after they come out. Okay. And the reason why is the same reason. Like maybe not the same reason, but it was kind of like that's the inspiration I got from it. That he's letting it sit and let it breathe, and then he'll do a game review. You'll never see an angry video game nerd. You'll never see an Angry Joe video day one of a game. It's always weeks later, sometimes a month later. He'll do that, and that's why I got that inspiration.
Okay. No,
that's the way to do it. So I'm doing something unique and interesting. That's the idea.
I think that's an awesome approach. Yeah. So, because there are games to where you're just following the hype. But if you wait a little bit, now. There's nothing wrong with those people that go day one, but like you said, a lot of people come day one just because they want to be the first to the finish line. And you don't get a 5,000 feet view of the game. You just get this rushed experience. And now we're even seeing, because people are trying to rush to the finish line, we're discovering later they didn't even complete the game. You know what I mean? Or they didn't complete enough portions of the game to give you a well-rounded. So no, I like that concept. I really do like it. I will throw in there for myself the only game there's two games, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I'm enjoying. I mean, not Odyssey, jeez, fucking great. Shadows. I'm liking that game. I'm really liking that game. I'm surprised how much I'm liking it. But I want to tell you, the game has captured my fucking soul, dude. You guys can call me full of shit, whatever. I don't give a damn. I'm going to advocate fucking Atomfall is the shit. Bruh.
Really? You know what? You're not the first person to say that.
Oh,
and
my God.
You know how 2025 has been rolling so far. It's like it's one of those years where you're like, I'll get to it, but you're never going to get to it because we're just getting bombarded with nonstop games, right? And so like it's so tough to like just catch up with everything that I'm like, but I keep hearing good things about Atomfall. Tell me about it.
Atomfall is the mixture of it's like Fallout 3 meets just a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance with some of the old with the UK vibe, just a little bit, just to touch it, but with survival elements to it. But the thing that I like so much about it is that you can tweak the game in so many elements that I've never seen a game tweak. Like you can tweak, because if you go at a default, what they do is you just wait. I mean, and this is no major spoiler. You just wake up somewhere and all you know, somebody just wakes you up and they're like, you got to get the fuck out of here. Like, dude, you got to get the fuck out of here. Like there's a bunch of crazy shit happening. You got to get the fuck out of here. This is where I suggest that you go. That's basically it. And you gotta find your way. Number one, you gotta even find out where the fuck this place is, because you don't even know who you are. For some reason, you wake up, you don't know who you are, and some weird motherfucker just comes and tells you gotta get out of here and you gotta go somewhere. So you gotta find where this place is, and you gotta find out why you need to go to this place, and you gotta find out what the fuck is going on. So at the most default level, what the game does is it doesn't give you a HUD. It doesn't place markers. You got to talk to people. You just got to journey and talk to people and find clues. And as you find clues, you got to look at your journal and then mark the clues on your map your goddamn self. But then you're trying to find loot and you're trying to avoid the people out in the world, because unless you've run into a circumstance to where you've done them a favor or something like that, they are going to fuck you up. They're like, they'll warn you. I don't know you. Stay the fuck away from me. You didn't listen. We're coming to kill you. And then 50 motherfuckers will come from it anyway. So at that level, it's like very survival-ish and a little bit too survival-ish for my taste. So I said, look, I need markers. I do need markers. I do need some guardrails. So I just tweaked it, and it lets you tweak so many different things. But then once I tweaked it a little bit and I got a feel for the game, I said, fuck, it's a very unique take on Fallout.
Interesting.
Dude, it's fucking, bruh. And the level design, the discoverability in the game is awesome. And I'm in a part, and then they throw in like little horror or scares type shit. Like, you know, I'm in this place right now where it's like fucking dark. I have this flashlight, but the flashlight like only shows my shoelaces and shit. Like the flashlight is weak, and I'm trying to find my way through this big ass crazy facility. So it's if you're one of those type of people that enjoy the Fallout series, the looting and the journey and going in caves and shit like that and tunnels and just discovering and journeying through a world, you'll love Atomfall. You'll love it. And it looks great too. It looks for a Rebellion game, because Rebellion's not known for making the best looking games. Those are the sniper.
The prettiest games, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. This fucking game, graphically, it looks, I mean, I'm not saying it's like up there with, it's not up there with, Last of Us and shit like, but you know, it's not using the latest technology, but visually it's stunning. Like the textures and shit are visually stunning, and even the character models, they're not that bad. You know what I mean? They're not Ubisoft bad. So,
wow.
Yeah, I recommend
and
it.
That's
man.
what's been taking up all your time.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I normally, because I'm so scarce on time. It's very seldom that when I'm getting. It takes me about 3 weeks to get 5 hours into a game. I already got like 8 hours into that shit already. That's very uncommon for me. I'm hooked. I am fucking hooked.
That's wild. Good.
Yeah. So
that's what we want, folks. We want like you want to get something to get its claws into you, and that's like I was saying before, like Star Wars, like something about Ubisoft, eh? Like I mean, I know I talk shit about Ubisoft, and I'm always just poking a little fun at them, but I got to tell you, there's something about their formula that is so incredibly addictive.
It is.
That you just can't stop. And like people get pissed off, the games are too big, they're too this, it's too much of this, too much of that. But then all of a sudden you get on that map and you see all those question marks and you start rubbing your hands together going, let's go.
I wonder what's
it's
here.
like the buffet's open, let's go, right? And you get excited because you want to just keep doing that stuff, right? And I'm just like, that's kind of how it is with Ubisoft games. And like, I mean, if you're into that formula, great. And then it'll get you. And this sounds like the same idea. Like this Atomfall's got its claws in you, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's good. That's what you want. You want something to get you obsessed about it, you know, give you that passion again.
Some people might not want the guardrails up there, like because you know the way the normal mechanics work is, okay, you got to go to this place called, we'll just call it Booby Town, or you got to go to Nipple Town. All right, where the fuck is Nipple Town, and what's there? What's that? What is so great about Nipple Town? And also, more importantly, what the fuck did I wake up in? So you'll just go out of this cave, you'll go run across some people, they'll try to kill you or whatever, but then you'll run across one person that isn't hostile, and they'll give you a clue. And then you got to go follow that clue somewhere else, and then follow another clue and follow another clue until they tell you, here's Nipple Town, and here's how you get there. But then if you may not want to make a straight beeline to Nipple Town because you get told where it's at. You might want to journey a little bit more, because if you come in Nipple Town through the front gate, you might get ambushed. So, then you'll come across somebody else that'll give you a clue. Oh yeah, you better go through this underground passage in order to get to Nipple Town. It's like it's just so many different crazy scenarios like that, to where you can play it the default method. You can put up a couple of guardrails. It really depends. They let you play how you want to play, which is one of the big things I think makes the game great. So,
wild. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's good. It's good. It doesn't feel good to get a game that you're like lying in bed. You're going, okay, so if I go do this tomorrow, when I get down there, maybe I'll try this and I'll open that door and see where that takes me. Exactly. When you start getting into that territory, then you've got those are the games you got to embrace, and just embrace the hell out of them, because they're so infrequent. Especially these days, like the way things are, it's just they're so infrequent to get something that really gets its claws in you, and then just absorb it. You know what I mean? Absorb it and enjoy it, because it doesn't come often. It doesn't come that often. But like, for example, like Star Wars Outlaws did that to me. South of Midnight, did you play it? I saw a bunch of footage you had up of it and stuff.
I just had footage of it. I honestly,
Okay.
me personally, I wasn't appealed to because I didn't like how the combat looked. But but again, I didn't play it. So
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I finished it in 2 days, so it's not like a monster. It's not like and like I said, I'm extremely busy with work. So for me to finish it in 2 days and you know what I mean?
yeah.
Get it done and then move on from there. It was not a problem. So yeah, it's a shorter game, maybe 10 hours, maybe 12 hours, that kind of thing. Not even 12 hours. I wouldn't even say 12 hours. I'd say about 10, and the game is done, right? And it's very linear, right? But it's worth it. It's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed it. But again, it was just like a taste of something, and I'm like, okay, I played it. It's done. And, let me get back to the meat and potatoes. But
yeah.
Anyways,
And that's cool. Every game doesn't have to be, they don't have to be a 5-star game,
Yeah.
Every
I
game
still got
you play.
Dragon's Dogma in the background too. Like I haven't even
Yeah,
started that yet.
Me too. Yeah,
I haven't even. It's the equivalent of me not of having the box and not even opening the wrapper. It's still sitting there. I bought it on sale on Black Friday, and I waited for the PS5 Pro enhancements, and they finally came. So I'm like, yes, it's good to go. But then life is happening and games are happening, and I just don't have time for all of these games.
Cold
right?
Blood, didn't you finish your Platinum Dragon's Dogma? Or you still got to finish it?
I almost finished it.
Okay. Yeah, I know. He put a lot of time into it. That's cool.
Well, I mean, I heard it's awesome. I heard it's an amazing game, so I'm looking forward to
game.
it. But it's on the list, folks. But the thing is, at the same time, I do have an obligation on top of that because doing what I'm doing with the channel and everything else, and even with both channels, with Cole's channel and my own channel, it's just there's so much going on that people want to know what's going on with the new games, right? And they keep asking me, Mag, how about this? Mag, how about that? Mag, what do you think about this? Mag, did you try this? Did you play that? And I'm like, I gotta be part of the conversation too. So what ends up happening is a lot of those backlog games keep getting pushed to the by the wayside month after month after month, and it's only because you're trying to also keep up with the current news, right? So it's just so much, man. Basically, you got to quit your fucking job. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You basically got to quit your job and just be like, listen, man, I'm just going to fucking game 12 hours a day because there's no way I could do this. It's impossible.
It is.
Like, I know some guys who don't work, and I'm like they're like, oh, yeah, I finished this, I finished that, I finished that. I'm like, yeah, well, you got nothing else to fucking do. Of course you finish this and that and whatever. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's like the rest of us, I have the inconvenience of work getting in the way and then having to take care of my kids after that. And I'm like, I don't have fucking time, But,
I did have that luxury for a while, but over the last 12 months, then my job was like, oh, you know what? You've been having it good, sir. So yeah, they've kind of reversed those fortunes for me. But
well, that's how work works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're always gonna get, especially if you're good at what you do, and you have qualities that they require, which is a blessing and a curse, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody knows that. It's a blessing and a curse to know what you're doing because then everybody fucking wants you, and it's just the worst goddamn feel. I'm just like, oh my god, please leave me alone.
Yeah,
it's just like
to be there. Yeah, you just gotta be there.
Yeah, it's the worst. It is literally the worst. I wish I was dumber, to be quite honest. I actually wish I was so dumb that they would be like, oh fuck, not that guy. Just don't ask him to do anything.
We feel sorry for him. We're still gonna pay him, but he's too dumb to rely. Yeah.
Please, ignorance is truly bliss, man. It truly is. I wish I had the ability to just be like, I don't know how to do that, sir.
Exactly.
That's it.
And just walk away from it. Well, yeah, I wish I could. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's me. I get frustrated, and I'd be like, "Here, give it to me," and fix it. And they'd be like, "Oh, well, can you fix that too?" You know what I'm saying?
And you know what the problem is because I think we're the kind of people that we can't live with ourselves because you see a situation like, "Oh, fuck this guy. Let me give me that."
Exactly.
And then you do it yourself and be like, "This is how it's done."
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh," and then the epiphany happens, right? And they're like, "This guy knows how to do everything." Well, now we're just gonna keep going to him.
And instead of it being a learning moment for them, it's a I can use you further moment for them.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So,
I have to get going soon here. Eh? It's after 7. I'm actually supposed to be.
Okay.
I have somewhere to be, and then I got to go live on my channel after that.
Oh shit!
So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah, because I do my live streams on Fridays. So I was just looking at the clock, and I'm like, motherfucker, I gotta go. But,
Well, we made it. Can I? You got one? Can I ask you one question?
of course.
Okay, FanFest. Dude, you
don't even
think about FanFest? Yeah.
Don't even ask the question. I'll just say,
Mm-hmm.
what a mistake.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard some pretty wild theories out there. I don't really believe in them entirely. I've heard some theories out there saying, oh, they know that they're going to get booed for going third party, so they're not doing it. And I'm like, they're not doing that because the people that are going to FanFest aren't going there to fucking boo. Some guy from Seattle's not flying 5 hours to go to LA to go boo. You know what I mean? Fuck you, Phil Spencer, you piece of shit. Like, they're not doing that. No one's doing that.
Paying the tickets and shit,
But it is a mistake. Because if you've already lost a lot of your identity for what it is or whatever, you've just lost even more. Because that was a gathering place for a lot of Xbox fans, or even just fans just in general, like gaming fans who are there. I know a lot of people who fly across the fucking world to go there.
Yeah.
And they go there to hang out with their friends and YouTubers and stuff. And they've asked me a million times, a lot of big guys out there, the Iron Lords, Randall Thor, Jez Corden, Colt Eastwood, all these big guns out there. Tom Henderson's out there.
Yeah.
Tom Warren is out there. All those guys, and I talked to all those guys. And that's the chance. Like, Mag, you coming this year? Mag, you coming this year? Come on, man. We're gonna party in LA for a week or whatever. We're gonna go to Sunset Strip and fuck things up at night. It's gonna be awesome. And I'm like, that sounds amazing. I'm all in. But now they've deflated it, and now that's a bit of it. Now the thing is, not only were they already struggling with an identity, now they're really struggling with an identity by canceling this. I personally think it was a big mistake. They should have kept that going, and then that would keep a lot of goodwill with a lot of people. And they've ditched it for one reason or another. I don't know why. I'm sure I'll find out in the next little while why, but as of now, nothing. And I find it actually quite surprising they got rid of it, because I think a lot of people look forward to it. But I don't look at that as a symbol of, oh no, it's over, they're done. They're not. I just think that I think it's a PR mistake. That's my take on it.
Okay. No, fair enough for someone that I've never been to a fan fest, but just wanted to tap into what the community maybe thought about that. Okay, that's all.
They're not happy.
Yeah.
They're not happy. I
can
can tell you that much. They're not happy, but it's just, what are you supposed to do? I mean, there's a lot of people canceling their flights to LA now. They're not going to be going to no live show. There's not going to be in-person stuff and whatever
exactly.
else. And I'm like, okay, we get it. But now, the thing is, I'm going to say one last thing here about it. What you've done is you've created a cold corporate environment as opposed to something a little bit more personable. Where they're like, okay, you can talk shit about Phil Spencer all you want, or you can talk shit about Aaron Greenberg, but you go there, they're fucking there. So you can talk to them to their face.
Yeah.
And you could shake their hand, or you could say, hey, dude, what the fuck? Like, for example, I know King David from Iron Lords. He was there talking to Phil Spencer a couple of years back, and then he goes, yo, Phil, I got to ask you a question. He goes, I'm a huge baseball fan. He's like, why does PlayStation have the best baseball game on earth, and then and Xbox got nothing? And Phil smiled at him and says, we're working on it. The next year, what's his name? MLB The Show was on Game Pass.
Shows up,
right? And so, you're able to talk to people. I'm not saying that it was King David that changed that.
Yeah, exactly. They were already working on it, but still,
but it's kind of cool that you can actually talk to a face.
Yeah.
And say, hey, man, I really appreciate what you did, or I didn't appreciate this, or whatever, right? Like you can voice your opinions to a human being, but now by doing this, now you're just watching a trailer. You're just watching a trailer and that's it. So that's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Maybe I'll just go to LA and fuck shit up anyway. I mean, I didn't give a shit about the games. I just want to go party with a bunch of people.
Maybe it's worth the flight. Hey, before you go, Cold Blood, did you have it before? We got to do this again. But Cold Blood, did you have any questions for Mag before he rolls out of here?
Are you happy about $90 games being a reality?
It will be a reality for some games, I think, moving forward, depending on budget. Now, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be for all games. I don't think you're going to see a lot of it this generation, but you are going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
It is what's going to happen. So, yeah. Like I said, I'm not happy about it, but you know what the hell are we supposed to do about it at this point, right?
I mean, I see $80 games since the beginning of this gen here in Germany. So,
well, yeah,
$90 Switch games is fucking crazy to me. Like, to me, $70 games was already way too much.
Yeah, I know.
In the PS4 era, because we had to pay 70 back then. And
that's what
now
I'm thinking is gonna
90
move forward, man.
Bruh.
It's gonna be like that moving forward. It's just that's what it's gonna happen, unfortunately. And as everything keeps going up and up and up and up and up and up, it's just video games are not immune to it. And like I said, the only way out of it is what we had talked about for about half an hour about that whole AI situation, which really sucks. But I mean, I'm just telling you that's the reality of it. You know. So King Deuce, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Wait. You think just because they're gonna use AI, they're gonna make the games cost less?
Not cost less, but it'll be able to level it out at a point where it won't just keep ballooning out of control. Because what's happening is the cost of, like I said, look at the cost of living in California is outrageous, kind of like how it is in Canada, Toronto, Canada, where I live, is completely outrageous. Like $2 million gets you a 1-bedroom condo in the city. Like, you know what I mean? And so, it's insanity. Meanwhile, I could buy a fucking castle in Switzerland for $2 million. I can't even buy a 4-bedroom house here for $2 million. They start at 2.5. You know what I mean? Like it's fucking insane. So the same thing in California as things keep going up, and that's where the majority of these developers are. The salaries keep going up, everything else keeps going up. When's it up happening? The bottom's gonna break at some point. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It cannot sustain this anymore. And so something's going to break. And I think like I said, I think they've known it for a long time, and it's going to be that AI situation. So it kind of sucks, but it is what it's going to be because everybody else is already doing it. As I've already mentioned, I don't know, half a dozen different industries that have completely automated, and it's just going to keep going. Video games are not immune to that. But for now, we are going to taste some pain, sure. I don't think you're going to see it this generation. Like, for example, we got a very interesting conundrum. I talked about it not my last video, 2 videos ago. How about this? Let's say Grand Theft Auto, you've got Mafia 4 coming out, or Mafia the Old Country coming out August 8th, right? Mm-hmm. Then you have, a month later, you have Borderlands 4. And then you have GTA 6 coming out. Right? Sorry, I know when it's coming out, but I'm absolutely not going to fucking say because Rockstar are motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I actually, you know what's funny? I actually spoke to a couple of other like pretty big guys on the inside, and they know it too because they reached out to me. They're like, "Did you hear about the date?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." And then I'm like, "You gonna talk about it?" They're like, "Not a fucking chance."
Yeah, absolutely no. Yeah.
Like, everybody's all these insiders and not just insiders, but like even industry guys know the date because they've been given a placeholder so that they're able to work around the date so they can drop dates for their games, other publishers. But anyways, Rockstar motherfuckers, so I'm not saying a word. The point is, imagine now Take-Two owns those 3 games, okay? Mafia, Borderlands, GTA. Imagine charging 70 for Mafia, 70 for Borderlands, and then fill in the blank, all of a sudden they're charging 90. You don't think people freak the fuck out?
Yeah.
They're like, dude, the same publisher just dropped 2 games for $70, and now all of a sudden you drop one for 90? Fuck off. What is this? But you know what's going to happen? People are just going to bend over and be like, fine, stick it in, no lube, don't worry about it, just spit on it. That's what they're going to do. They don't give a fuck. It's GTA. They're going to pay $100 for it. Yeah. And that's the reality of it, and I think they know it. However, it's bad optics. By releasing 3 games within 4 months, and then you're going to have 2 at regular price, and then you're going to have one that's... You know what I'm saying? So that's a weird dynamic. So it's something that I'm not really sure how that's going to do, but I can guarantee you this. After next year, you bet your ass the games are going to be $80 and above. Yeah. Of course, you got to shout out King Deuce. You said a wonderful thing. He just said, he goes, I love hearing Mag's takes on the game industry when you guys get together. And then he said, hey, I got a shout out. Of course, you got a shout out. Come to XNC. I'll give you another shout out. We got 20,000.
You know what, Mag?
25,000 people watch that show.
You make sure you send me your links and shit because I wanted to.
I just put my link in the chat right now.
Oh, you
right
did?
there.
Okay, cool.
I'm right there. The Mag Show. You can find me there, guys. And then of course you can find me on Colt Eastwood's channel. I do XNC Mondays at 8 p.m. King Deuce, come by, man. I'll shout you out in front of 25,000 people. Be fucking hilarious. Say something funny though.
Come on by.
And Mary Wilcox, I love you. I see you all the time when I'm on Mooch's show, and I see you in this chat. I don't see you on the other side of the fence. I never see you over there. Come say hi, man. We're nice people. Anyways, I gotta go, guys. I really
appreciate it. Thank you, Mag, for coming through, brother.
Oh man,
we will see. We'll do this again.
Of course, we're gonna do it again. And I was just about to say anytime, and I'm like, what anytime, Mag? You don't have any time. We will make it work, folks. We will make it work. But either way,
figure something out.
I will tell you this. I will leave you guys with this. The Oblivion Shadow Drop is within a couple of weeks. So get excited for that if you're into Oblivion or if you're into those RPGs. So that's coming out, and that'll be coming out for all systems, not just Xbox or PlayStation and Game Pass. It's coming out for PlayStation as well.
Oh wow!
And PC.
Wait, Mac.
Yes.
Did you actually see the game?
No comment.
Okay.
Oh shit, people! Did you get it? All right.
Because
I said no comment. Your Honor, I said no comment. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'm just gonna say for me, if they make a remake, it better look like a fucking remake and not just a remaster.
Well, we'll find out. The anniversary, the 11th anniversary event is happening right now, and it ends on the 21st, going into the morning of 22nd. I'm expecting it somewhere around the 21st to 22nd. They'll do a shadow drop of the game right there. I mean, mind you, it's not much of a shadow drop if I tell you about it 10 days in advance, but either
well, yeah.
Either day.
Why is it a shadow drop?
It's a snap drop.
It's supposed to be like a thank you for a decade of Elder Scrolls Online, and here's a big thank you to all the fans kind of thing. That's what I'm expecting. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm expecting that, but I've heard that from multiple people, so should be interesting. We got that coming up. You got some other things coming up. GTA 6 is coming out in 2025, so no more debate on that. It is happening. So we got some good things to look forward to. But either way, everybody have a great night. We're gonna talk soon, man. We'll do it again.
All right.
I got one more thing. You said it's gonna be a big thank you. I think it's gonna be a big fuck you to all Xbox people.
Oh Jesus.
Well, that was fucking. What a way to end the show. Leave it at that. I'm not even gonna say another word. That was the funniest fucking thing. It was the funniest way to end the show. Not a big thank you, a big fuck you. That's gonna have me laughing. Cold blood. That's gonna have me laughing 10 minutes after I walk off. Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, we're gonna end the show. King Deuce is cracking up. Thank you guys very much. Make sure you follow Mag. Please follow the content. The man, the myth, the legend. Mag is joining us again. With that said, everybody, peace. You guys have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.